Podcast Charge!
Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 122 of LostinTranslationmon. I'm May.
And I'm Jay.
And this week we watched The Truth About Keenan.
Or, the target is Ikuto, Postmon Pat.
And The Cry Family Reunion.
Or, is your mother Ikuto Hagurima's cage?
Do you think their last name is Cryer because they were crying because they lost their newborn son?
I don't think that's exactly the reason, but it could be.
Like, yeah, no, the Noguchi family? Nah, they just call them the Cryers because they're crying a lot.
I mean, that is a real surname, so
yeah,
sure, but I mean, of all the names you could have picked, right?
Yeah. Call them like the Turners or something. Death Note's doing it.
You just love the screaming.
I do love that screaming. For DigiNews this week, first up, obviously, Try Chapter 5 comes out tomorrow, and so does Atmon's finale.
Yeah, so screw Try Chapter 5. Atmon.
We're really excited for Atmon's finale. We just covered Atmon episode 51, and we're super ready for the finale, but also kind of not, because it means it has to end, and that's sad. So, Atmon coverage, that even though we just recorded it, it will be out at the normal time for everyone, so edited and uploaded to SoundCloud and to all the podcast listening services. Will be normal time, so that's Sunday. It's already out for Patreon backers, so if you're one of those, you can already listen to it and hear our thoughts on that episode. And we will be trying to cover the finale episode as soon as possible. Like, as soon as the fan subs come out, we will try to cover it and try to record the episode. And we'll record that and send the raw of that episode out to Patreons as soon as we record it, as always, and then it'll obviously come out for everyone else on normal time, so next Sunday. And then after that, we will be doing our Apply summary thing, as we always do at the end of a series.
What I'm really saying is that no pressure, but the Atmon subs better be out as soon as possible.
Yeah, Jay actually cares, and this is a new thing for Digimon. Jay caring, it's great, it's so refreshing.
I've never done that before in my life.
For NewsLatelymon, since Atmon ends on Sunday, we'll be releasing a survey where we are asking Digimon fans to pick their favourite and least favourite episodes from each season. We'll be releasing this survey sometime next week once the Atmon finale has been covered by us, so basically as soon as there are subs for the Atmon finale, we'll be releasing this survey. I already set it up. It's something that I've been working on the past couple of weeks, and I think I had this idea, back in August. And
Why would you work on it? It's just one question. Is Atmon the best season of Digimon? Yes, and yes in capitals.
And hell yeah. Because it is. I mean, in my opinion, it is.
Or the last answer for all those people who aren't sure is probably.
Or haven't watched it yet, but yes.
Comma, all caps, but definitely.
Yeah, but definitely though. So I will be, as I said, I've sort of had this idea back in, I think July even, but I thought it would be better to wait until Atmon finished. I could have waited until Try finished, but we still have Try Chapter 6 to come out once I release this, and I just wanted to get this out after Atmon. And also, Try's not really a series. He's sort of like between a movie and a series, so I'm not including that. Yeah, but I'm not including it in this, is what I'm saying.
It's just a 30-episode long season.
Yeah, but I'm not including it in the survey, so the survey's coming out despite Try not finishing, because I'm also very impatient.
Yeah, well, that's about right.
And also, we'll do another one when Try comes out, why not? I'll just copy this survey and add questions about it, but point is, we'll do it now. So, we will be posting this on social media and on our website, but please spread this. It doesn't have to just be completed by our listeners.
Yeah, spread this like wildfire.
That's
the thing I hate people saying.
But please, spread it like Digi-Wildfire. It's because I think it would be a good thing to know about different people throughout the fandom of, like, what episodes are liked, what episodes are not liked. Are there any episodes that are just overly liked? Like, everyone just says this is the best episode of this season, and I really want to know that. Hopefully we get some solid figures from it, and I think we can if we spread this enough, so please spread this to your Digimon fan friends who are not necessarily listening to the podcast but are still in the Digimon fandom or like Digimon at all, and I think it would be interesting to see the results for that, so we'd really appreciate it if you were to spread it out. Another thing is, I will be on the With the World podcast Sunday 1pm PST, I think that's PST, or 6am Australian Eastern Standard Time on Monday morning, I will die, to talk about Try Chapter 5.
Enjoy that.
So it's 1 hour earlier than normal because I said, hey, I can be on this, but you have to have it 1 hour earlier because I work and I leave for work at about 8, so I will be getting up very early. Is that on Monday? Yep. Wow. Yes. Wow. Yes.
Why?
Because I was asked and I may as well. I'll wake up. Dude.
Why would you do this to yourself?
I have so much energy if it's Digimon related.
Oh, that's surprisingly true.
Also, it's sometimes nice to talk to people who actually like Digimon, Jay. Except for Atmon. Atmon's fine.
No, I really liked doing that podcast where everyone hated Digimon. That was sweet. People who say they like Digimon don't like Digimon when you talk to them about it.
They're like bits.
I like Digimon. What about this, and this? Oh yeah, Digimon's awful. Still like it though, but it's awful, right? Yeah.
I wish I knew people in person who actually like Digimon. Like in person as in like that I know in Australia that I see frequently. Like everyone, all of my friends are kind of just like, wow, Digimon's awful.
There's got to be at least 2 or 3 people in Australia who have heard of Digimon before.
Yes.
At least 2 or 3.
Well, Sash has heard of it, Mitch has heard of it, and they've both been on the podcast.
Oh, so then you know everyone.
Yeah, now I know everyone.
You know the entire Australian quote-unquote fandom.
And then the last bit of Lost in NewsLatelymon is that our Patreon Discord now has different roles for each Patreon reward. So make sure you link your Patreon account with your Discord account because it does a thing now and you get pretty colours and you get like your role listed and it's great. So yeah, link those accounts. That's mainly it for LostinTranslationmon and DigiNews because there's not too much DigiNews. We could go over every single little piece of the theatre goods that they've released, but I don't think you care, Jay.
No, I really don't.
So if you want to hear me talk about that, just listen to any of the With the Will podcast episodes because I talk about the all the theatre goods and the bath set that's at one of the pop-up shops at the moment. There's a Digimon bath set and a Digimon lunch set.
What does bath set mean?
It's got little baggie and it's got little like sponge and it's got a little bottles you can put like moisturizer in and stuff.
I don't get it, but okay.
I do. It's really cute. I bought it. And yeah, so that's it for DigiNews and Lost NewsLatelymon. Do you have anything else to say?
I don't because I don't. If it doesn't start with app, it's just not really Digimon, you know?
I used to like Try. You used to say that Try was the best part of Digimon.
I just think it's all a big waste of time unless it's on a smartphone. Basically, that's what I've learned.
Dude, tell that to yourself like a year and a couple of months ago when you were like, I'm not going to watch Atmon. That sounds stupid.
Yeah, well, it turns out that if I think that Digimon sucks and then they make something that isn't Digimon...
It is Digimon.
No, it's vaguely related to Digimon.
The thing is, people who hate Atmon are saying, well, it's not even Digimon though.
Well, good. No, that's why it's good. Because you know what? Digimon has a crap formula that's like really not fun to watch. So, I don't know, if you translate that through to a different show, maybe it'll be good. And it was.
So that's exciting. Any other predictions you want for Try Chapter 5 since we're watching it tomorrow and not staying up till 2 in the morning? Because I realised that would mean we wouldn't finish it till 4 in the morning and then I would have to get up immediately and record and edit the recording.
Do what I do, don't sleep.
You never don't sleep.
I didn't sleep the other day. It was the pre-release. Sat up all night. It was great.
Yeah, and you were very not happy during the day though.
Yeah, it's true. I was sleepy.
It's not fun.
But I didn't sleep. That's the whole deal.
Yeah, but I don't want to die because I also have to edit the podcasts. Yeah.
No, work doesn't need to get done.
I'll also have to record the Try podcast.
Just do what I do when I have stuff I need to do.
And
think about it really hard and don't do it.
Okay. Well, I guess on to Obnoxious Synopsis. The first episode that we're watching this week is called The Truth About Keenan, or The Target is Ikuto, Gotsumon's Plot. What do you think will happen in this episode?
The only thing I can really pick up here is that they work out, oh my god, Gotsumon's been trying to kill us, bro! And then they're like, oh, you know, maybe I'm on the wrong side after all. They're in the real world now. So I guess Gotsumon goes through the portal as well. And Makuromon's like, go and get Keenan back, get Ikuto back, right? But Gotsumon's like, oh, I'll get him back, sure, I'm gonna kill him though. I'm gonna kill him. And that's gonna be the thing that makes Ikuto like actually listen. Because the whole time while he's with Dats, he'll be like, I hate humans so much. And they're gonna have to keep him in like a cage or something. I don't know. He's gonna be in captivity because they can't just have him throwing boomerangs around the office.
Yeah, or tackling people or trying to hunt. He hunts down the pawn chessmon for lunch.
Oh no!
Do you think anything will annoy you in this episode?
Yeah, just I want people to ask Ikuto the right questions, and they're not going to. Hey, do Digimons have moms? I did. Like that. It's just really simple.
Yeah, I'm surprised no one said, hey, Digimon don't have mums dingus.
Like, some of the Digimon should say that. Like, we don't have those. Are you aware of that?
I think people I think Digimon feels sorry for him.
Well, they should. He's an idiot.
Aw. Do you think it'll be a good episode?
Sure. Fine. Maybe.
What rating?
6. just good enough to be
That's
called
like,
good.
That's like, it's not too bad.
That is not filler, no.
No, not feel it? Alright, the second episode is called The Crier Family Reunion, or Rescue Mother, Ikuto, Hagurumon's Cage. What will happen in this episode?
What's a Gurumon?
It's the gear. We've seen him before. I love him. He's my son.
Okay, so I'm thinking that Dats tracks down Ikuto's real family, and the Criers. His name probably is Keenan Crier. And they've got some relation to Dats in some manner. Anyway, so the mom comes over and is like, "We finally found you." My son is like, "I have a mother. She is dead. She was a snow bear. I'm a feral child, I guess." And, they have a whole thing, and he doesn't believe them, basically. And then, I don't know, the Digimon keep planning to try and kill him, maybe, from Gotsumon, probably. And they capture her instead, and Ikuto's just got the feeling in his kokoro. I got to save that woman. Why? Oh, and then my memories. Oh my god, I forgot when I was a tiny baby. That was my mom. Yeah, I'm human. No! That's the episode.
Do you think anything will annoy you?
God, Ikuto's an idiot, isn't he? He's just so stupid.
He's like a baby. He's like 10.
Yeah, but he's an idiot. Come on.
Okay, it's a little bit dumb.
Also, why is a 10-year-old fighting Masaru? That's weird.
Masaru's fine.
He beats the hell out of, 7 people older than him.
Masaru doesn't discriminate. Also, Ikuto holds his own because he's
No, he doesn't. He never holds his own. He throws a boomerang, and if Masaru ever tried to fight him, he would die.
I don't know. I think Ikuto's strong because he's able to fight Digimon by himself. Because
He's not, though. When has he ever demonstrated
To
that?
be fair, Falcomon fights for him as Peckmon.
Yeah, exactly. He's never demonstrated he can fight by himself. Everyone's just annoyed. Is that a boomerang? Are you serious?
He's Boomermon.
Who actually throws a boomerang at someone? That's nuts.
Do you think it'll be a good episode?
Not really.
Oh no. What rating?
It's like a 5.
Aw. Filler or not filler?
It's not, though. It's not filler.
Yeah, neither of these episodes are filler. Obviously, they're about Ikuto, and he's a character, I guess.
What a
other
character.
Thoughts? No other thoughts?
Do I ever have thoughts? I've never had those in my life. My head is a big empty bell.
It's full of
made
Digimon now, thanks to me. Alright, well, onto the show.
Full of Atmon, which is a better show.
Onto the show?
It's not Atmon, though.
Onto the show.
Fine.
Onto the show. This week, we will be covering both episodes as one big episode because it's kind of like a part 1 and part 2 situation. The first episode starts up with the recap, and I'm really happy because it's showing Guapamon, which is my favourite Digimon ever now. I love him. Except for Edramon, obviously. But so far in Savers, my favourite main partner Digimon
is Agumon,
is
obviously.
Guapamon. Okay.
Oh,
Agumon's great,
did I just find the hole in
You're
your
right.
theory?
Agumon's great, but Guapamon is great. Also, he's a little turtle who gives tea. I love that. I love it. I love little turtle who gives tea.
Sure, man.
He's my friend.
Well, Agumon drinks tea and eggs.
I love him.
Not together, though. That'd
He
be
might.
weird.
He might. You never know that. He probably would, to be honest.
Oh, he wouldn't know the difference.
He'd make a milkshake, but without milk and just with eggs and tea.
Sorry, how do you make a milkshake? Can we confirm this?
Okay, so when I was a kid, I was told by my father that to make a milkshake, you grab the milk and you shake it and you pour it into a glass, and that's a milkshake.
The theory is at this point that he said that because he didn't want to go and buy you one.
Yeah.
Just take the milk and just shake it.
Or alternatively, you get a bottle of sake and you drink it.
It's not a milkshake.
Get it? In the dub of Tamers, they have sake when they're feeding Orochimon, but in the original, it is... it's sake in the original, but in the dub, it's a milkshake.
I know, but in the other things, it becomes soda. No, it's soda for beer.
And hot sauce for wine.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
So we begin the episode with
also, I'm just about to recap. I
Oh
really
my
like I really like the recap music in the original. I don't know why. It's really catchy. Okay, yes, continue now.
Who cares about the recap? The recap's not the episode.
Continue.
So that these two grown men are struggling to keep a 10-year-old child from getting out of their grip.
Yeah.
Because Ikuto is struggling.
Look, I think this is fine because it makes sense that Ikuto is strong because he's been living in the digital world, probably climbing from trees and beating up Digimon. I'm fine with him being strong.
Have you ever seen a stretcher that has the straps on it, or a straitjacket, or handcuffs?
I just think he's too strong for that.
You think that the police don't have handcuffs?
Also, maybe that's just too harsh on the child.
No, it's not. He thinks he's a Digimon and wants to kill everyone. It doesn't matter how young someone someone is, if they think they're around their purpose in life is to murder everyone in the room, put them in handcuffs already.
Okay, I guess that's reasonable.
Anyway, so what's happening at the same time as this is Masaru is also being held down. He's like, let me go! Let me go!
This is a great scene. It's just like, we see the parallels through this whole episode that Masaru and Ikuto are very similar.
And so Ikuto's like, I want to go back to the digital world. That's my home. Masaru goes, I want to go back to the digital world. I'm in the middle of a fight with Mercurymon and I was gonna win. You made me not win.
But it's not just that. He also wants to go back to rescue the old man because he's like, it's not right. We owe it to this old man because he saved us. We have to save him. We owe it to him.
Oh, he'll be fine. He managed to get in by himself without anyone noticing.
Yeah, that's great though.
So they introduced the idea that the old man is actually the director of DATS.
Yeah, he's the chief. But in the dub, it's the commander general.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Actually, the difference would be whether or not he has a military rank. That's important.
So there's a commander general that has a military rank?
Well, a general would be a military rank.
That's a general idea.
Much in the strange way that the president of the United States is a military rank.
Yeah, I never knew that.
Yeah, the commander-in-chief. They're like I can't remember if they're a 6 or a 5-star general.
Oh, jeez.
I can't remember. Anyway, so his name is Yushima, and he runs DATS, and he was leading the expedition force as well. Before DATS, it was a thing.
And he's also said to be an expert in Digimon.
Which says that DATS is only 10 years old at most.
Yes, it's a fairly new thing. It's roughly 10 years old. So that explains why it's developed, but there aren't too many people working there.
It seems weird to me that DATS is a thing that started in Japan and it's only been around for 10 years, but yet exists in other countries. So the captain then, because they're all out saying we want to go back into the digital world, whatever. He says, okay, well the dive will be closed from now on. You can't use it to go to the digital world. And he says it like it's a punishment, as if it wasn't standard procedure for 10 years that people aren't meant to go into it. And in fact, it amazes me that the entrance is designed in such a way that people can get in at all. If they were smart about it, since they know all they're putting back into the digital world is eggs, the entrance would only be a foot tall.
Yeah, it would only be able to fit eggs.
Yeah, obvious.
Though I think maybe that's the same dive that they used when they originally went into the digital world.
I mean, it might be, although you could argue that you couldn't fit 10 people into that.
Yeah, but the main point is, considering we had the 3 people go up, they had to be huddled together.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's just that size because you could say it's because they wanted to put the possibility of putting humans there in the future, but the main point is it's because they wanted to, plot reasons were they needed the characters to go to the digital
You're
world.
allowed to admit it's just the script.
Yeah, no, it is, but you can argue that maybe that's the one that they went to, or all 10 of them went 10 years ago into the digital world, but now they sort of they were looking in the future and saying, oh, maybe we might need to put a human through if something goes wrong, and we need to put something bigger, or maybe we need to send a Digimon there, like one of our partner Digimons. But for the main point, it is plot convenient. So
Masaru, despite being just told just now that you can't use the dive to go back, he's typing on it and being like, I need to go back! I need to go!
You're missing out on a few things. So just to back up a bit. So when Masaru was being told that the chief is who he is, and it's the old fisherman dude, Toma and Yoshino walk in and they've already had their exam and they're just putting on their jackets. So
they don't look like they came from an exam, do they?
No, they don't. It's kind of an awkward scene, but you get the idea.
Do you ship it yet?
No, I don't.
Do you ship it yet?
No, he is 14 and she's an adult, so no.
Wait, what? All the way around, isn't it? He's 14.
He's 14 and she's an adult.
She's 18, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's an adult. Anyway, so they've just had the test and they're fine. And then Toma is really calm and Masaru asks why. And Toma says that they already assumed all this because he was in the digital world. In the dub, Toma says that when he saw the Digivice, it wasn't hard to work out. Then Masaru says, look, he's an ally, so we have to go back and rescue him. What you're telling me is only making me want to go back more. It's not stopping me from going back. He's an ally. He's one of us. He's part of DATS. We owe it to him to go back. We have to go back. And Kutamon says that if they do go back, they will need to develop strategies and think this through because they can't just repeat the same mistakes. And I love Kutamon because he's we have all these Digimon who are rather childlike. We have Agumon and we have Lalamon. And they're kind of kid-like in a way. Which
is weird because Lalamon is years older.
Yes. Probably, how old do you think Yoshino was in that flashback, maybe 4 or 6. In human years, she might be as old
Maybe
as
8.
Masaru. She might be, maybe. So she's 10. So she's probably Ikuto's age or Chika's age.
Something like that, yeah.
Like Lalamon. And then we have like the
and how
moment.
much is that in plant years?
That's,
Jeez.
that's a very old plant. So we have on the other side. There's the very mature ones, which is Gaomon and Kutamon. And I really like how we got like different characters. In Adventure, all the Digimon were fairly like these are kids, but in this series, we kind of like, oh, you look at a Digimon, like, oh, that's an adult. Like, it's, even though it's a child stage, it has the maturity of an adult.
I don't know what you're talking about. Tentamon was an adult, a very annoying adult, but he was an adult.
He liked Izzy's mum. He really liked Izzy's mum.
Fair enough.
And he learned how to sweat when he saw Mimi, apparently.
Ew, haven't they just learned how to sweat?
I love Tentamon so much. He's precious.
Buzz buzz.
Buzz buzz.
My name's Tentabuzz. That was the weirdest joke in that whole thing.
In Abridged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he says buzz because he's a bug. I get it.
And then this is where Satsuma says the dive is closed. And then Falcomon asks what is going to be done with him and what's going to happen. And they say nothing, but we have to keep you a secret. And Falcomon asks why. And then he's told that Digimon are kept secret to avoid chaos. In the dub, Falcomon asks if he's a prisoner instead of asking why he's being kept secret. And Samson says he's more like a guest than a prisoner. So I found this is a bit of a weird change. I kind of like we have to keep you secret because Digimon are causing chaos. And if other people knew that Digimon were real, they might freak out. So I don't know why they removed this, but whatever. And then we see that Pawn Chessmon White is delivering the tea because Kamemon's gone. And I was like, no, it's his job.
It took her germs.
But yeah, as you were saying about Masaru and Ikuto destroying things.
So here's the thing, right? Ikuto's bashing on the dive.
Yep.
Why does he know what it does?
I think he just gathered from Masaru saying, well, this is how we get back.
I don't think he ever said that.
I know, I think
he's punching the glass like, I want to go back. But he has no idea what this machine is.
I'm pretty sure Masaru mentioned that this is how they get back.
Sure. Then he sits down at the console. Wouldn't he think the console's how he gets back?
I just think he was pointed towards where the actual dive was and said, I have to kick this really hard because Masaru is kicking it. He doesn't know what a console is.
He's not kicking it, he's typing until the
Ikuto's,
end.
Ikuto's not. Ikuto's just jumping
Masaru.
up and down.
You just said he took...
Oh, yeah. So Masaru is typing, but what I'm saying is Ikuto wouldn't know what a console is. He looks to where a portal is and he says,
there's no portal
I understand portal. No, but he's told that that's where the portal is.
By whom?
How to
When?
get there. From Masaru.
It doesn't.
I'm pretty sure Masaru says we have to get back to the dive, and then if he knew that was the portal, he
doesn't know.
He knows what a portal is.
Yeah, but those are open holes in the sky. This is a tube.
Except for the portal that they came through in Marukimon's castle.
Which is not here. That's in the ocean.
No, but the other portals that they've gone through before, because Ikuto was able to get through from the digital world to the real world.
Yeah, those are all holes in the sky.
Not the ones in the digital world.
Yes, they all are.
Not the one from Marukimon's
It
palace.
was.
No, it was behind him.
Okay, it was in the sky behind him. They're just holes in the air. Is that a better phrase for you?
They are holes in space. They're just holes.
Sure, that glass tube doesn't look like that. He doesn't know.
Yeah, but I'm saying is they were having a conversation about the digital dive, and that's the way they get home. And then they were referring to that like the tube thing as how they get there.
You give them a lot of credit. Also, why are they just letting Ikuto run around?
That's a good point. They should have him probably chained up, considering he basically tried to assault the doctors.
More or less. There's a lot of stuff that goes on where the actions of the individual people don't make any sense. And it's because Ikuto's the main character, so whatever. We can't put him in like a room that's locked because, he has to go around and do stuff.
Yeah, and we need him as a character.
We don't, though.
Yeah, we do.
It's not true.
I love him.
So Masaru just breaks it. He just breaks the machine. Also, I should mention this as well. How is there no system on the dive to lock it from an administrative side? Is it not possible for the captain to just say, hey, tech crew, can we just give it, like, the access to this is now restricted?
Yeah.
Because obviously it's not. Masaru can just do whatever he wants with it.
Well, Masaru wasn't able to get it to work.
That doesn't mean that he didn't have access.
Yeah.
It means he doesn't know how the machine works,
Yeah,
which he's
that too.
proved over and over again.
Which is good. And I like the fact that Masaru's like basic attempt at anything computer related is to type at it. If that doesn't work, hit it.
That's always worked out.
That's like such a Goggle Kid or Digimon protagonist way of looking at things. Like, well,
Tell
it
that to
didn't
Haru.
work. I better kick it.
You're wrong.
Yeah, but Haru's different. He's
Also,
great.
Takato never did that.
Takato and Haru are the cinnamon rolls of the Goggle Kids. Okay.
That's true.
Then we have the impulsive ones who are Taichi, Daisuke, Takuya, and Masaru. So the rest, they just want to beat things up.
So,
So now Satsuma says that he wants to tell them about the exploration squad. And he says that people were disappearing and Satsuma and Yushima were detectives and they were investigating the disappearances. Masaru's dad and his assistant Kurata. And there was also this young couple. And they said the young couple are Ikuto's parents. So they are the Noguchi family, and in the dub, they're the Cryer family.
Mm-hmm.
So when we get the flashback, I noticed this weird thing that was cut out of the dub. So when the baby disappears and goes through the portal,
Yes.
Ikuto's parents drop a cup of coffee. This is cut for some reason. I guess it's because it could possibly look like blood in some way.
No.
But it's cut. This really weird coffee falling to the ground smashing is cut.
So this whole bit here is like season ruining for me.
Oh?
Okay, think about this. You've just introduced the idea, okay, the reason we were interested in the digital world is that people were disappearing into it, okay?
Yes.
So we thought we would research it. And then you see a picture, an image. Oh, by the way, Ikuto is one of the people who was taken to these portals.
Yes.
That's fair enough. People have been randomly disappearing. He randomly disappeared. And then we cut very, very soon. It's not even like a reveal. It's in this episode. And they don't seem to think of anything of it. Oh, it's actually these two scientists, they opened a portal to the digital world, and then the sun went in. By the way, it looks like they threw him in. I know the sound doesn't sound like it, but it seems like they threw him in. Now, here's the problem. Any reasonable people, like if you're a scientist who's invented a machine, you're a reasonable person. First of all, you would have the most basic safeguards in place. You do not know where the hole in reality you are ripping goes.
Yes.
Okay? So maybe put a sheet of glass in between you and it. Okay?
Yes.
Contain it.
But then...
Sure, if you can't manage that, maybe don't put your only baby son under the portal.
But otherwise, there would be no Ikuto going to the digital world, Jay.
No, there would be, because they introduced 2 minutes ago people randomly disappearing, unrelated to the machine you built.
Yeah, you have a point, because Satsuma says they are victims of the disappearing people's case.
They're not. They're not true.
It's completely different. They were just like, they went into a portal to the digital world.
They built their own portal, and I know it says their son got sucked into it, but they may as well have thrown him in themselves.
Yes. Yeah, like, who takes their their newborn baby to work? I know you're showing that, like, both of them are busy working, but they get a babysitter, maybe.
Also, the house is right there. The house is, like, 20 meters away.
Yeah, this is their garage, I think.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. This whole scene is so stupid, and it's right next to an explanation you could have used.
Also, why not just put the baby in the corner?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, far
why
away.
was it under the portal?
Like, put it in the cot, like, far away. Not like, I feel like it would get in the way. No, I see your point here. The baby seems like it would be a hindrance to the scientific process.
This thing is season ruining because the whole scene is so contrived, and it leads to everything that's happening right now. It leads pretty much directly to them going into the digital world, these two characters, and largely being part of the exploration force. And maybe it's even a reason the exploration force went in. I know there was other disappearances, but it's a whole thing. And then Ikuto is a main character, and his relationship with all these other Digimon. All of this is based on the stupidest moment where these scientists activated a portal to another world over it. Okay, here's a question for you, just for perspective.
Yeah.
Imagine you were a scientist.
Yes.
Imagine that. Okay, and you've just invented a portal to a world that you think it will open a rip in reality and go to a different one.
I'm gonna go get a
Okay?
Digimon.
People have been disappearing. No, you don't know what Digimon are.
Oh.
People have been disappearing into these wormholes that are being created, okay?
Yes.
All right. Now, we will further establish the thing you love most in the world is your dog.
Aww.
His name is Langley, and you love him a lot. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
He's my best
If
friend.
you're going to rip a portal into another world, will you activate your machine after you have placed your dog under it?
No, never. I'm not.
There
dumb.
you go.
Yeah.
Do you not think these two are the two stupidest characters in Digimon now?
Okay, yeah, I know. I agree. I think the dad's worse though.
I just
Out of
don't
the two.
understand why they couldn't have just said a random portal opened up and grabbed him. Why did it have to be their portal that did it?
I don't actually know. I like the idea
They
that they
seem
were
so stupid
that they were
now.
investigating, and I like the idea that the woman was also doing science. Like it
You're
wasn't
right.
just the man.
Women in
It was
STEM fields is a good thing.
yeah. I do like the fact that they had a woman scientist who's working alongside her husband. Were they both wearing lab coats? Or
They were both,
I know
yeah.
she was wearing one.
They're both in it.
But she looks very. I don't know. She looks very intelligent intelligent, and she looked like she wasn't less than her husband.
Sure, man. I appreciate...
And that was great, and I love that. However, despite them both being very intelligent... because
Clearly not.
No, they were able to, like, possibly invent a portal to another world. That is
Yes.
intelligent.
Which
For
they just left in their garage, hooked up to the wiring.
for scientific people, they're pretty dumb. Like, for smart people.
Everything about their characters is so straight out of the script. It is like, it is obliterating any suspension of disbelief.
Yes, but it's not as bad as things in Frontier.
And it's amazing because it doesn't need to be this way. There are like 2-second changes you could have made to just twice. You go, okay, a random portal grabbed him out of his room rather than the one they opened up themselves while he was there.
Yeah.
And also the lightning strike could hit the portal thing directly. But like, because it just hits the house and you don't see it, it seems obvious to me that they've left the portal that ate their son, like, they left it active the entire time, or at least able to be. It's still plugged into the wall.
I can see why they would leave it active on the off chance that, well, maybe one day our son will return to us.
Why would their portal operate in a manner that if they didn't choose to open it, it could just open itself?
I don't know, but that seems to be the way. They didn't say, oh, the portal opened, that's surprising. They were like, oh, the portal finally opened after all these years. Does that mean our son's coming back to us?
I can only write that one off as the mom is a bit insane. Like, she's a bit, like, crazy with grief. Okay,
that too. She is also still overcome with grief. And I guess I'll get to this now. The dad says, look, my wife's emotional wounds have only just started to heal because of the birth of our new child. And the dub, they remove this and they say, oh yeah, and they basically almost imply that she's all better now she's had the daughter.
This is the stupidest thing anyone has ever said in Digimon. This is the... Okay, let's just break this one down as well.
Yes.
Alright, my wife is incredibly upset because she invented a portal that ate our son, and she's pretty sure he's dead because of her actions.
Yes.
So that guilt and that frustration that she's had to suffer, that's been really awful for her. But because she thinks she killed her son, right?
Yes.
And it's only just starting to fade now because she has to focus on another child.
Yes.
How dare you consider telling her that her son is in fact alive? And now, that is a reasonable thing to say if you've just found out that piece of information and you're relaying it, right? We saw Ikuto in the digital world, now we're telling you that he's alive. That's not cool because you can't prove it. He's right there!
And he sees him too, the father sees him. The father is just like, I mean, we are skipping ahead a bit, but the father is literally like one of the worst dads in Digimon.
Is he worse than the dad from Frontier?
I don't think so.
I think he is.
Really?
Because at least the dad from Frontier, we only just read into it that he was evil. We're like, oh, because of the way it is, all right, he must be kind of evil.
No, this
dad says, that's Ikuto. I don't really care. Does he ever even say, like, oh, it's good to see you?
No, he said, oh, it's good to confirm that he's alive.
Yeah, no, it's not good to see you, kid.
No,
I'm your dad.
He says that to Masaru when Akuto's not there because Akuto's run off.
Yeah, but Ikuto is standing right next to him at one point when, like, the robot house was going around later, and he doesn't say anything.
The dad does not seem happy. Okay, here it is. The mum, maybe she's a little bit spacey.
Yeah.
Like, just in general, before they went away.
Yeah.
The dad hates the kid.
You think he threw him into the portal?
The dad wanted a daughter. This dad, he wanted a daughter. He was like, nuh-uh, not having a boy, nuh-uh.
I don't think it has to do with it. I would have gone a different direction with the motivation.
Okay, well, you go to yours then. And then, or maybe the mother had an affair or something.
I'm thinking he just wasn't ready for a kid yet, but it's 10 years later now and he is.
That works too. So he kind of doesn't want a kid. Kind of didn't, want to pressure an abortion or anything. It's kind of like, we have this portal. Hey, wife, how about we work downstairs? It's okay, you can bring the newborn down, it's fine. He opens up the portal, and because you said it's almost like he was pushed in there, gives him a bit of a shove. There we go, we've solved it.
Oh no, he's in the portal now. Oh,
and
no.
Remember, in the flashback, we have the mother screaming out, Ikuto! Like, really emotionally. The dad's just standing there.
Oh no.
Dad does not care. Dad is holding back the mum.
I can't believe...
The dad does not care.
I can't believe that he'd say, she's very upset that her son died. So the fact that he's alive... You know what? She couldn't... That would hurt her too much.
Yeah, look,
it would hurt her that her son is not in fact dead.
That made no sense.
And it's the basis of the whole episode.
Yeah.
And next episode.
And the mum's fine. Spoilers, the mum is fine. She's happy.
Of course she is.
Because, like, guess what? She loves her son. She's still the son. And she was, like, in a depression for essentially 10 years. She's happy to see the son. No emotional problems. Like, she's all good now. Now she has 2 children, and it's fine.
Good on her. Well, sort of.
Horrible husband. Awful husband who
Oh my
may or may
God.
not have pushed the baby in.
No one even mentions that. No, because he says that, and Masaru's like, well, I guess I'm sorry. I was wrong. And
He's
then
so
he leaves. Like, no, Masaru, you were not wrong. This person is clearly wrong.
So just back to the bit of the episodes that we were up to.
Oh, I'm upset now.
Yeah, me too. We'll get to it more when we get to the
This
relevant
episode's
parts.
really bad, actually.
Shut up. It is not.
No, it is.
Fight me on this.
Everything about it's wrong.
Okay, we'll get to that. So I just want to say later on we find out the parents' names are changed from Kenji and Misuzu to Kevin and Michelle. So that's not too far off. It's not as far off as Keenan and Ikuto.
Ikinto.
And then, I don't know, in the dub, I noticed that the way that Samson says that they were this boy's parents in the dub is just, I don't know, it seems so blunt and direct. He's just like, oh, those people? They were your parents. They're just so blunt. I think it's meant to be like this dramatic moment, but the way he just says it, he just delivers this in this really blunt way. But in the original, it's rather sympathetic, and it's almost like he's dancing around to say, like, those parents.
I love how casually he's like, oh, by the way, we checked your DNA against the DNA we had of your parents. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I just did that.
Despite we had difficulty strapping you down, we managed.
Yeah, you just did it.
They're probably hair or something. I don't know. Fingerprints, skin. I don't know.
Fingerprints? Really? You think you can get fingerprints off this kid?
I meant fingernails.
Fingernails don't have DNA. What?
Don't they?
No, dude. Fingernails aren't alive.
Neither's hair.
Yeah, but the root of the hair is.
Okay,
that's
no,
what you use.
fair. Okay, yeah,
hair
that's
that
fair.
just falls out, you can't use.
Yeah, it needs to be that. Yeah, no, you're right. And then we go to a commercial break in the dub, and then after the commercial break, for some reason, they add in like this outside shot of Dats for no reason, and
It's an establishing shot.
It's not in the original though. They just clipped it from somewhere else.
You gotta fill in that weird space where you took out the coffee.
And I feel like this might have happened later on in the episode as well, but I might be wrong. I feel like it happened twice. So then Satsuma explains that, yeah, I tested the DNA and his parents were victims on the missing person case, which we already discussed is not true, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Was it like a missing persons case implies you don't know where they went and you don't know how it happened?
They definitely know where he went.
He went through that portal.
Yeah, he
right
went
there.
through the portal. The dad pushed him.
Which presumably is actually the portal that the exploration squad went through, because that's the one they could actually fit through.
Yeah, but I feel like, I don't know. I got the impression that because they're saying victims of the missing persons case, it doesn't fit the same way. I think the parents might have just lied.
Wait, can I ask you a further question? That's
Because they're not allowed to have it.
But that's the thing. They're not allowed to have it. We established that later. But
I don't think
but
Dax knows.
But Dax does know. They told the story of it, didn't they?
Okay, yeah, they know. Maybe they know that part now.
What do you mean they know that part now? They tell that story before you see it.
Maybe they think that it's decommissioned now.
But if they're an official government agency, it is their job, once it becomes illegal to have it, to walk into these scientists who created the portal, who you know, to walk into their garage and say, we need to take that, sorry.
Yeah, there are a few issues now. Okay.
There's so many! Okay, every important fact that underscores the plot in this episode is insane and has to be wrong. And is so easily fixable, but they didn't. It's just stupid.
Yeah. At least it's good setup for the next episode. At the very least.
If you insist. Don't agree. Continue, whatever.
In the dub, Thomas directly asks if Keenan was born in the digital world. In the original, he's just like, where did Keenan come from?
Where did all this come from?
And then Ikuto says, oh no, Samson says, oh yeah, he was just sort of there. Then we find out that the parents are living in the Japanese Alps, and Masaru is just dragging Ikuto, and Ikuto says his mother's not. He's like, my mother, not human. And you're right, he's saying
it's
human.
Frigimon. I like Frigimon. I look like a bear.
Rah. Masaru says that there's no place that he belongs in the digital world, and then because he says this, Ikuto remembers got someone causing the cave-in. In the dub, Marcus says that he's going to treat Keenan like a baby if he's acting like one, and Yoshi says, yeah, but you have to crush him. And then
that flashes back to Gotsumon being like, I'm gonna crush you.
Yeah, so he gets this weird flashback because of that. And then after the flashback, Marcus says, it's not like you have anywhere else to go. And I just, it's still like a kind of harsh line in both versions that Marcus and Masaru both deliver about saying, yeah, you don't belong there. But it's also kind of true. I mean, he clearly got along well with Marukimon, and Marukimon thought of him as a son. Then in the car, Ikuto is amazed, and Masaru says that even country bumpkins can appreciate the city. In the dub, it's kind of different. Marcus says that not even country bumpkins act this way when they see the city. So in one version, he's saying you are a country bumpkin, and the dub, he's saying you're worse than that. You're worse than a country bumpkin.
Well, to be fair, in Japan, country bumpkins still live in reasonably sized towns.
Yeah.
They know what televisions are. Mercurymon has hundreds of televisions! I'm not being an annoying goblin!
Look, that's that part's cute. And he's like, well, do you have that? And he's like, yeah, it's a painting with data. I'm like, I guess.
No.
And he's like, no, well, we have 3. And then the dub, he says, well, we have 3 at my house. And Kunin says, well, we have hundreds of Marukimons.
He says that in the Japanese as well. That second part.
Oh, yeah, no, it's well, he says hundreds in the digital world, yeah. I just think it's so cute. I really like this scene. I just love how he's so amazed by everything, but at the same time he's pretending not to be.
And then it gets car sick. Right as they talk about Neon's new song, and I thought he was reacting to that news.
Yeah, like, me too.
No, not Neon!
So, just a bit before he gets car sick, Masaru and Ikuto are arguing, and Yoshino says it's like there are 2 Masarus. In the dub, Yoshi says she's used to this because she used to be a babysitter. It's strange. It's like, for some reason this line, and you're probably going to disagree with me here, but it reminded me of in the dub when they kept on giving Mimi family members, is they keep on giving Yoshi jobs in the dub of Data Squad.
Let me keep giving, like, what other jobs have they given
I feel like
her?
they've given her a shop attendant job at some point.
I think babysitter's always what she goes for.
I know. Okay, maybe you're right.
She craps on about it like 4 times in these 2 episodes.
Yeah, but in the original, she's not. Then Falcomon says that it's amazing that the cars aren't hitting people and the people aren't colliding. In the dub, Falcomon says that it is so busy but nobody's walking into each other.
Is that a thing that happens in the digital world a lot? We've seen tons of shots of the digital world and like groups of Digimon running around. No one ever bumps into anybody.
I don't know why, but this line seems like it's been used before in Digimon. It just sounds very familiar.
I think you're thinking of the times where Tailmon will look at cars and be like, what are all these big Digimon? Oh, they're eating people!
Was it then?
Well, I mean, they don't say this line. They're saying different stuff.
I feel like it was Kulumon in Tamers.
I don't know, it doesn't say...
Yes! No, Kulumon said the exact line in Tamers. Like, there's all these people and they're not walking into each other, and then they go into the bigger Digimon and they get eaten.
Is that a thing? Why do they think that people walk into each other?
I don't know. I think...
Also, we do.
Yeah, well, I think it's because in Japan, like, it's also busy, but everyone's so, like, coordinated, and they manage not to walk into each other because they're not looking at their phones.
You think they're essentially bragging through these Digimon?
You're like, look, everyone's so organised. I'm trying to do Kulamon's voice, and it's not working out for me. Ikuto is amazed by everything, and now then this is when he gets car sick. In the dub, there's some added dialogue with Masaru saying, he's gonna hurl, and Yoshi saying, not in the car, not in the car, not in the car.
Just in case you didn't catch that he was car sick.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't need to add in the extra dialogue, but I guess it's fine if you want to mention it.
If you gotta.
Masaru has hot dogs for them, and it's so cute. And then in the dub, Marcus says, well, I know I get car sick when I'm hungry.
That's dumb. Why
Okay,
would you?
it's
Wouldn't
fair
you get
enough.
car sick after you ate?
Maybe.
You get stuff to throw up then?
People are nauseous when they're hungry. Like, I get nauseous if I'm hungry.
That's different from
Like,
being
I'm like,
car sick.
oh, man, I don't feel well. I'm like, oh, no, never mind. I'm just really hungry. Which I will be because we are fasting for the next 24 hours. I'm going to die.
Enjoy that.
Rest in peace, me. I'm really full at the moment, but, like,
Get ripped.
in 24 hours, I won't be. Falcomon grabs, like, one of the hot dogs and eats it, and
I mean,
it's so
he
cute.
he steals it.
Yeah, just has
Ikuto,
some
this
poison.
is your hot dog. No, it's mine. Nom, 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 nom.
I love this. And then Ikuto eats 2, and he's just so happy. He eats, and he's so cute, and he's just nom nom nom.
You wonder what he ate in the digital world then. It's hard to tell.
Digimon food.
What's that?
Probably like fruit,
Cabbages that taste like pizza? Weird.
Or those bananas that you keep on like opening, and it's just peel.
Oh my god, I forgot about that from Adventure, right?
Yeah. Or those purple bananas.
No.
And fish, but not marching fish's fish, just fish.
No, it is Marching Fish's fish, remember? Doesn't Gomamon catch a bunch of his fish friends and then it cuts to them eating them?
Oh, maybe
Doesn't that happen?
I think I'm trying to forget. I don't remember that part. Maybe I was just either trying to forget
Swear
or it
that
never
happened
happened.
at least once.
But the marching fish's fish are like coloured, and then they eat like non-coloured fish. I guess they just, when you cook them, it gets rid of their colourful properties. Then they fall asleep, and Masaru says that looking after kids is tiring. And Yoshino comments about how he was looking after them, and how he's trying harder than usual. In the dub, Yoshi says that she knows all about how tiring it is to look after kids. So this is like said as like a snide little remark about how she's always with the 2 14-year-olds, and she's being the grown-up and looking after them.
Also, how she used to be a babysitter.
Also that
Keep that
too.
in mind. It's very important, I think.
And Marcus asks what that's supposed to mean, and then Yoshi asks why he's being so nice to Keenan. So it's this weird sort of thing that in the original he's being fatherly, he's being a good father or a good big brother, because that's just what he is. And Yoshino's saying, hey, you're kind of being like really nice, and you're looking after him, and you're actually trying really hard, and you're trying a lot harder than whenever you're just with the 3 of us. And in the dub it's changed, like Yoshino is just making a snide backhanded remark. Like it's just, I don't know why, it just comes across as a nastier scene than in the original.
Well, it's the English version. People are meaner to each other in the English, remember?
I know, but
That's what
I
they
wish
do.
that wasn't the case. Then Masaru falls asleep, and Yoshino comments...
He's you.
He's me, about how he was just talking so maturely, and in the end he's just a kid himself. In the dub, Yoshi says that he can't drive because he's young, but I'm pretty sure in the original she just says, oh, he could probably drive.
Also, you have to mention that Gotsumon is in the digital world looking for a gate to get to the real world.
Yes.
That's the thing that's happening.
Because Marukimon's castle was effectively, like, caved in.
Also, presumably, because Marukimon said, no, you can't use my portal.
Yes.
You have, like, we're not attacking the human world.
Yeah, Marukimon's kind of like, why? We'll look for Ikuto, but don't attack.
And the castle's not caved in. He's still in his chair.
Oh, yeah.
They must have cleared it out.
They must have. Maybe the old man helped them. The Chief Yushima helped them. There's a Digimon signal nearby, and it's a Kuomon, and then there are 3 of them, which means, yes, there's one for each child. It's great.
Which is funny, because that's not how it works out.
Because Tom is not there.
Yeah, and Ikuto doesn't fight.
And yeah.
So you were wrong.
Part of me
Not
was,
wrong. There are 3
yeah.
for each child, but...
Part of me was expecting Peckmon to evolve to perfect in this episode, because I don't remember where he evolves.
Hey, man, I have a question for you.
Yes?
Because I just thought about it now. How did Ikuto get a Digivice?
Yeah, no, this is something I don't remember, but I hope it's explained.
Because he didn't have it with him as a baby. They established
And
that.
it's not from the digital world, it's man-made.
Uh-huh. So how did he get that?
I hope it's
Because
explained.
the humans didn't find him.
Because I was thinking about this maybe a week ago, but I didn't bring it up because I didn't want to spoil about how he got there or not. But you're right. I don't... Look, I want to have faith in Savers, and I want to say it's explained, but I don't remember.
This whole episode tells me you shouldn't have that faith.
No, it's not that bad.
It is. It's that bad.
If we say that the dad is actually evil, it makes a lot more sense.
That one scene makes more sense.
Yes.
But the rest of it doesn't.
It makes slightly more sense if the dad's evil.
Also, the dad was evil. He wouldn't have gone to the... Oh my god, everything
What?
makes sense if the dad's evil.
Yeah.
Then he would come in and attack all the Digimon because he doesn't want the expedition to succeed. It's all about how much he hates his son. That's the whole story.
What if the big bad is just the evil dad?
Is that the one?
big dad.
Is that the one you thought I would like?
Yeah, you just like the dad. He's evil.
Oh no! You told me there were 2 big bads, and this is a new theory for you. So you do know who the bad guys are, and it's not him.
Maybe it is.
Oh come on! Don't lie to me.
I mean, I said there's at least 2 more big bads.
No, you
Like the Bigum's bads.
Okay, no, but this is a fresh theory for you.
Like
I
not
can
the
tell.
henchmen, but like the Bigum's bads.
No, I can tell this is a fresh thing.
I'm still behind team. The dads in Digimon are mostly awful people.
It does seem that way. That's why Matt's dad is actually crap. Probably.
Look, he's the only dad that's the best.
We don't know that. They got divorced for a reason.
Well, all we know is that Taichi's dad is
A drunk.
a drunk.
We do know that Matt and TK's dad got divorced for a reason. We don't know what that reason is. But if he's a digi-dad, he must be awful.
Or what if the mum realised that she was actually a lesbian and she's now in a relationship with Sora's mum?
So what?
I don't know. I just think that'd be
What
neat.
does it have to do with anything?
I don't know. Think it'd be neat.
You think it'd be neat if Matt's dating Sora and his dad's dating her mom?
No, his
think
mum's...
that'd be cool?
No. His mum's dating her mum.
Oh no, his mom's dating her mom and he's dating her.
What if they're not
That's-
married? What if they're just really close because they're brothers now, brother and sister now? I don't know.
I'm trying to sandbag you, but you cut out the silences.
Yeah, I cut out silences, so sandbagging me doesn't work.
Kind of do it anyway.
You just go silence. Just do the
There's like 30 seconds of silence that got cut out of me sandbagging Matt.
What about the onomatopoeia of G, which is a stare?
It sounds like a cicada in the background.
Yeah, I forgot what the onomatopoeia for cicada is though. Gotsumon is flying on one of the Akuamon, and Lilamon evolves to Lilamon, and Lilamon carries Masaru and throws him at Akuamon so he can get the Digisoul.
Fastball special!
But he only gets enough Digisoul to evolve him once, so he
has
needs
got-
to punch another one. I love this. I love how, we have Yoshino and Toma who are able to just get their Digisoul by clicking. And then we even have Ikuto who's just not trained.
And the old man.
Just does it already. Yeah, old man, but he's like an expert. It's fine. And then we have Masaru just like, I can't get it to work unless I punch something.
I do kind of love that. It's clearly meant to be like a downside, but it's never posed as that. So like...
Masaru just like, look, if
he
Masaru
never
didn't
has
want
to
to punch...
get over it.
Imagine if Masaru was scared of Digimon. This would not work out if Masaru was like, didn't like fighting or was scared of Digimon or was nervous.
So like let's give the really clear comparison that's very modern. My Hero Academia, there is a very clear drawback for the main character using his powers.
Yes.
Okay? He does an amount of damage to himself, and his progression is shown by how much less damage he can do to himself.
Yes.
And in this case, you'd think, okay, Masaru has to put himself in danger to make his powers work. But that's never shown to be a downside. It's just a thing he does.
He just has to punch them, and if he wants to evolve more, just punch harder.
It would be the same thing as if he like had to do a rhyme at the beginning of it. It may as well be.
He just lays down some sick beats about the Digimon before he's able to get his Digisoul out.
Exactly.
Like he starts like a rap battle with the Digimon, and then he's just like, all right, hey, Agumon, was that beat sick enough? All right, you ready to do this? Let's duel.
So Almon has a bit of an argument with Gotsumon, and then Gotsumon's like, nah, I'm still gonna kill Ikuto because he's a human. Beat punches Almon aside, and then Masaru saves Ikuto because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, but just before he's about to be murdered, Gotsumon in the dub says, goodbye, Keenan, and it's for some reason because they added in this line, it's less dramatic. Because it's like this sort of like music and like silence in terms of no dialogue happening. This dramatic moment, and then the dub just puts in, goodbye, Keenan.
I'll tell you though, it has nothing to do with whether there's a line or not. It has to do with the fact that Keenan is a crap name.
That too.
Do you know what? If it was goodbye, Jack, that's way cooler.
Yeah.
It's way cooler than but goodbye, Keenan.
What about goodbye, Marcus?
Marcus is
Marcus
fine.
is a nerdy name, let's be real.
Goodbye, Brian.
Goodbye, John.
Goodbye. No, John's okay. Goodbye, Andrew.
Goodbye, Thomas. Even Thomas works. No,
Yeah,
you're right.
Goodbye, Tom.
Goodbye, Ikuto. It's better.
But that one works in Japanese, right? Sayonara, Ikuto.
Matane, Ikuto.
I don't know what that one is.
Matane is like, see ya.
You wouldn't-
Matane.
But you wouldn't say that as like you're about to die.
You might have it's like, see ya.
No.
Sayonara is probably too formal.
No, but that's the whole thing. It's you're about to die. It's like a real goodbye.
Like, I think see, I think,
Sayonara.
ja, mata. Well, later. I know. I like to
I
like.
don't think that's true. I think
I like
that's
it.
how it works.
I like it. It sounds good. Ja, mata. Oh, matane.
So, okay, so the Greymon beats up one of the big bugs and Lilamon.
It's like lilac, but without
Yeah.
the C.
Oh, okay. Actually beats one of them. Yeah, I thought you'd be really happy with
I'm
that.
really happy.
And then Masaru actually just straight up stares down Gotsumon on his giant bug, and
Yeah.
Gotsumon's like, no, he's too scary, and leaves. And then
Well, he doesn't just leave. He says that Ikuto's human and doesn't belong.
yeah.
In the dub,
No one wants him in the digital world,
and
he
in
says.
in the dub, that line is added in the dub. In both versions, he says how Ikuto's a human and doesn't belong. But yeah, as you said, in the dub, he's adding on, there's not a single Digimon who wants you there.
And then Ikuto just cries.
Yeah, which is fair enough. That's like a harsh thing. Like,
Giant baby.
you know your family? No one wants you there. Not even like the person who is effectively like your digi-daddy.
I always thought it's amazing how in pieces of media, someone will say something along these lines, no one likes you. And the person just goes, oh, this person who hates me must be telling the truth.
Yeah, but
They have every reason to lie to me,
Yeah,
but...
but look, and this is the same as the argument that I think we skipped over between Falcomon and Gotsumon. Is that Falcomon saying, look, why are you doing this? We are allies. Well, you know, we're teammates. Why are you attacking? And Gotsumon's like, well, you're a traitor. Rah! So if we take the fact that Ikuto and Almon both... Now I'm calling him Almon.
Yeah, exactly.
God
That's his
damn
name.
Ikuto and Falcomon both think that Gotsumon is part of their family, effectively. It's not just like this person has always hated them. They thought they were friends, they thought they were teammates, they were
Sure.
allies, and now all of a sudden he wants to kill him and says that no one likes him.
But if you've known Mercuriumon all your life, maybe you'd be like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he likes me. The only reason this is halfway believable, if you do not think about it, is because we haven't seen Ikuto's life experiences. But given that Ikuto's life experience have to be, essentially, being raised by Frigimon and Mercuriumon, and
Yeah.
knowing them for years, and not actually fighting all the time, because you don't need to, because there aren't humans around, then he would know Mercuriumon better than that, and know that somebody probably still likes him, or at least enough not to immediately fall into like, well, he must be right. He's got, he's not like he's got any sort of motivation to not like me.
But I just feel like maybe also he knows Akutomon as well as he knows Mercuriumon, so maybe he just thinks that he's telling the truth. I don't know, I don't think it's too bad. Just before we start the discussion for the next episode,
Yeah.
what rating did you give it?
You know what?
Just because you said you didn't like it, I'm genuinely interested
The
to
more I
hear.
thought about it, the worse it was. Like, I came out of it as a 6, and now I'm thinking it's a 4.
See,
or less.
I guess I'm kind of the same because I gave it a 7 because I really enjoyed this episode. But you're right, there are a few things. Like we had to say, look, the dad being evil fixes a lot of things, but do you really think the dad is actually evil? No. Like he's awful, but I don't think he actually pushed Ikuto in.
No, it probably didn't.
I don't
Also,
think
most of that dad stuff is in the next episode.
Yeah, I don't think he actively said, hey, let's put the kid in front of the portal, open it up, and then push him in.
As much as that would make it make sense, instead they just said, you know what? It's time to open this portal to another world that we know has been abducting people. We'll just open it with our son right there.
Yeah, so instead of
no! We took no safety measures. We're in a garage.
It's entirely plot convenient, which is, so I dropped mine down from a 7 to a 6, maybe a 5.5. Look, I still enjoyed this episode. This doesn't mean I didn't enjoy the episode, it just means that there are issues that they didn't feel entirely thought out. I still enjoyed the episode. It was still a good episode. And it's one of these things, like, it is really good until, like, you talk to Jay about it.
Hey, that's what I'm here for.
But in the way that it's like, it's different to the way we always said, Frontier's good until you think about it. This is just like, you actually have to think about it. You have to, like, actually analyze things. In Frontier, some of the things, like, if you think about it for, like, a second, it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
But this is sort of something that you actually have to seek out and analyze.
Well, big thing about this one is that it's so easily fixable.
Yeah.
Without having to change anything that's important about the show.
Make the dad evil.
Frontier needed to be... No, it's not even that, right? Don't make the dad evil. Just make it so that he disappeared through a different portal.
Or a portal disappeared there.
That's what I mean. No, like, they've just told you. Portals have been appearing randomly in the street and taking people. Why wouldn't it be possible for a portal to appear in this baby's crib and take him?
Yes.
And then the parents walk in, they go, oh no, that's a thing that happened. But instead, they wanted to establish they also have this one that they built themselves.
Yeah.
But in doing so, they ruined the story.
However, I feel like the dub could have probably tried to fix it.
No, the picture of him going through it is impossible. Like, it's too stupid.
Or just, like, somehow make up something that makes...
You have to not show
sense.
that flashback.
They've edited out more,
In fact,
heavier clips before.
If you just didn't show that flashback... Because the first time you see it, you don't see the portal. You see there was a portal, but you don't see
baby's appearing, yeah.
You don't see the generator.
Yeah.
You see him disappearing into just a thing, and that's the entire screen.
Yes.
Then, in the next time you see the generator, and their scientist goes, if you just cut that second bit out, it works perfectly fine.
Yeah, so the dub could have fixed it quite easily.
Oh my god, it's so weird. But Frontier was bad to the core, is the difference.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't really know what the story of this one is yet, which we're getting bits and pieces. And I really get the feeling, and I think this is the most frustrating part, is that there should be a file on what happened in the exploration squad.
That they can read.
And there's no reason for it to be secret, because it advises a lot of how DATS acts. So why wouldn't the characters have said, we need the report on this, we're going to go read what happened?
Yes.
How is it that they are consistently surprised? How does Yoshi not know who the old man is? He's the chief!
Yeah, and she was surprised. She's like, oh, the T guy fights?
If you're in the police force,
you'd know who the chief is.
And you have a lieutenant. Yeah, you have a lieutenant telling you what to do.
Oh, this guy has the highest rank in all of the organization, and we're only meeting him now. And we don't know how long Thomas and Yoshi have really been working there. Yoshi might have been working there for...
Maybe since she was 14.
Maybe she could have, because remember, if she's been with her Digimon for 10 years, and the Digimon Exploration Squad was what formed DATS, and that was 10 years ago, she could be there since she was maybe even younger than that. She might have been maybe 10, maybe even.
They would have at least been involved in her life.
Yeah, because they knew about her having a Digimon, and they'd have Digimon signals or some developing technology. So she might have been working there for a while. How would she not know the chief?
I want to say that this is the opposite of what world building is. Because this actively makes it feel like it's not a real world that people live in, because those details that are obvious. Oh, if you've been working there for a while, you know who the chief is. And you know what? Why did it have to be a big mystery? Because when Masaru met him, he wouldn't know that that's the chief, because he's not a curious person in that way. He wouldn't have asked. And then when they run into him in the digital world, they go, oh, chief, it's good to see you. And then just have Masaru go, that's the chief? What are you talking about?
No, I think
he's allowed to be surprised. They don't have to be.
Because before then, I don't think Yoshino and Toma had ever actually seen the fisherman guy talking to Masaru, because I remember in one of the episodes, I think it was the one where Masaru and Agumon have a fight. And he says, oh yeah, I was just talking to that guy. Oh, he's gone. They could have easily done that.
The problem, I think, with Savers at its core. And it's not a big issue. It's just really frustrating because it's doing stuff like this around that. Is it treats the kids as though they are any other Digidestined team, right? They treat them as if they are just kids who hang out together and they solve Digimon stuff. But they also have this organization around them.
Yes.
And they essentially pretend that there is no bridge between these kids and the organization. They have no access to its resources just by being employed by it.
Yes.
Like if I'm going to work and I need to do something, I have access to every resource of my workplace to get that thing done.
Of course.
Whereas these kids are presented with information and they say, well, we don't know anything about that, so we'll just wait and think about it.
I feel like they should be briefed on their first day about this kind of thing. Like,
That's true.
Oh, by the way, so this organization was formed 10 years ago where 10 of us went into the digital world, and because there were some disappearances and people going to the digital world, a bunch of people missing. Also, we have Digimon, and now that's why we have Digimon, but we're also trying to work out why Digimon are coming to the human world and causing havoc.
And if you wanted it to be a mystery, right? Because obviously that's what they want.
Yes.
They want all of these things to be, oh, a surprise, oh, it's a mystery, we've all these things. Then just have the file that's on hand either be A, classified for mysterious reasons, which they never do, or be full of lies.
Or stolen.
Now, stolen doesn't make any sense because they have a computer system.
Okay.
But just have it be full of lies. You're allowed to do that. That's fine. And they'll say, why would it be lies? Oh, it must go all the way to the top. Or why is it classified? Well, something really embarrassing's in there for the department. There's all these ways it could have gone. And instead of that, it's just they never asked. It literally, when they're told about the exploration force for the first time, they go, what? When did that happen? Oh, we're just telling you about it now. How does Yoshi not know? She's worked there for years.
Yeah, as I said, she could have been working there for quite a long time of her life. Like maybe all of her teen years she could have spent working at DATS.
You think that people see a portal to another world that they're sending eggs through all the time and not ask, A, can I see what's through there?
Or have people been there before?
And people get, no, and then the response, okay, it's very simple. Can people go through that? The response, people aren't allowed to go through. Why? Oh, because this happened before.
Yeah.
It's a 2 question and answer conversation.
Everyone seems just very happy with the amount of information that they give.
You know what would have been a really good running joke?
What?
Like I would have loved and would have made all of this like really funny and make sense. Because Yoshi and Thomas should know all this stuff.
Yes.
And the reason they wouldn't just assume that they have to tell Masaru is because when he starts the job, they give him a full briefing of which he doesn't pay attention to any of it. And every time they tell him something new, they have to be like, and they told you this in the briefing. And he's like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I don't remember that because he just didn't pay attention to
No,
any
he
of
was
it.
just sitting there saying, and when can I punch people? When punch?
Yeah, no,
Punch now? Punch now.
I saw that thing. Can I punch that? Yes, you can punch that. But this is also important. Sure, man. And then he goes back to daydreaming.
Yeah, but all he could hear from that conversation was, you can punch that.
Yeah,
Instead
exactly.
of, you can punch that, but this is what it is.
And so there are lots of
He's
ways.
like, what's Digivolution? Oh, it makes you punch more. Okay, I have to do something that makes me punch more.
So I just get the feeling that like what we have here, on one hand, like I would call Frontier a big puddle of slime in that it has.
That's
listen
rough.
to what I have to say.
Yeah, continue.
It has no foundation and no structure. And as a result of that, and you really couldn't put it together unless you changed what you were working with, right?
Yeah.
Okay. On the other hand, Savers is a big pile of separate Legos. You could put them together in the right way, and it would work just fine. It would have integrity and structure and everything you want. But the creators said, all you need is the Lego. Here you go. Have at it. Because we want you to have fun and get there in the end yourself.
Yep.
We don't want you to see the structure before we begin. And that's not how it works. That's not how a story works. And it's really frustrating. Sorry, let's go on to the next bit.
The start of episode 20, for some reason in the dub, starts off with Thomas narrating the last episode, despite not being there in the last episode and not being here in this episode.
That's okay. That's how he made time to get into a voice acting booth.
Oh, that's fair. They're all at Ikuto's parents' house. And Masaru asks Ikuto if he remembers it. And Yoshino says that was 10 years ago, so he couldn't possibly remember.
Also, I guess we confirmed that Ikuto is 10.
Yes.
I don't know why, I just assumed he was 8. And I think that was what made me confused about how he ended up there.
No, he's 10.
And I'm still confused.
I think he's roughly the same age as Chica.
Whatever. Maybe.
Masaru says that he fell from the monkey bars 10 years ago and remembers that, and he has a scar and he points to it.
Super unfair. He was 4, not 0.
Yeah. Then, in the dub, they change this to be a reference to his voice actor,
What?
Okay, so this is the one thing I know about Kingdom Hearts. So what happened was, in the dub, Marcus says that he remembers his first house and every little nook and cranny, and then says that he got it memorized. And he points to his head. And this is a thing that Axel says from Kingdom Hearts. And
Who's Axel?
Axel is the guy with the red hair from Kingdom Hearts, and that's all I know.
I don't know who that is.
Okay, he's a character from Kingdom Hearts, and it's a meme. So this is the only reason I know it, because I'm the meme queen. So
You're so nice.
Axel is a character who has the same voice actor as Marcus in the dub.
Okay.
And he says, he points to his head, and the exact same way that Marcus points to his head to point out the scar. And he says, got it memorized. And it's like his catchphrase, and he says it.
Wish he wouldn't.
So they put in this line and removed the fact that Masaru has a scar.
Okay.
I just wanted to say that.
So here's the thing, right?
It was funny. I
kids
got it. I understand this reference.
Walk Ikuto around the house to the back where the mom is there.
Yeah, because
she's looking after the baby.
No one's answering the doorbell.
And here's the thing.
Yeah.
This implies to me the kids did not call ahead. They did not say, hey, we are coming to visit.
No, they did not. They're just showing up.
I can't believe that they would act just like not human.
They're protagonists. They're like, we can go to their house with that without any problem, right?
So, like, oh my god, that is even more confusing. Wow, the dad's super evil. We're gonna get there. I just realized something very important.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't call ahead. The mom is not expecting visitors. So she's busy doing her own thing. And then
Alternatively, maybe they did call ahead, but they spoke to the dad.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
No, because, okay, we'll talk about it in just a second. They're going to get to that.
Yeah.
So Ikuto is too scared, and he runs off, and he doesn't want to actually see her. Because he's like, no, I already have a mom, blah, blah, blah.
And Masaru chases after him and knocks over the father, who's on a bike or something.
And then Ikuto runs into the forest, and the father says, was that Ikuto? Because the captain called me and told me that you had found him. He knew.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
His wife, according to himself, does not know.
You're right. The father
He
awful.
didn't tell her.
He's awful. The dad is awful.
Why wouldn't he tell her?
Okay, you're right. He is worse than Koji's dad.
Well, it's directly related to the warning he was giving the Masaru, which is the stupidest thing in the world, as we covered it before. She's really sad that she thinks she got her son killed, so finding out he's alive would break her. Why?
There's no logic besides that. And, the reason for his logic being that is for one or two reasons, right?
Yeah.
One, he is the most awful person alive and does, maybe he's selfish, maybe hates the kid, maybe just can't read his wife's emotions that well, maybe he's just stupid. Or two, it's in the script.
It is definitely in the script.
It's in the script because otherwise there's no struggle in this episode. Oh, Ikuto sees his mum and the mum is happy, or the dad just says, hey, your son's alive. The mum tries to go out, find, they have a reunion. Robot can still be there, whatever. But there's less struggle in this episode.
But that's wrong, because the struggle is that Ikuto doesn't want to see her.
Yeah.
That is in itself a conflict.
Yeah, but now there's extra conflict, which is just kind of they could have probably removed that.
They'll ignore that in the future, by the way.
Yeah, I feel like
it never comes back.
It doesn't actually impact the episodes at all whether or not the dad says that.
And then Masaru, without arguing at all, just goes, well, guess you're right. Sorry about that. I'll go reconsider.
This is really weird because he says, sorry for the intrusion. And he kind of silly walks away, and it's kind of funny. But in the dub, he just grumbles away instead of apologizing. It has a different tone from... In the original, he's still rather polite. Even though he's he beats up gangs and is quite blunt, he will still apologize for intruding on someone else's property because that's just a decent thing to do. In the dub, he's just he grumbles off the scene. Also, I just want to go back a bit when Akuto's father says that his wife would relapse. Masaru yells at him and says that when your wife's hurt, you should live through it together, you should share the pain, and you're bad parents because Ikuto doesn't even know that he has parents and he doesn't know anything about that. And then in the dub, Marcus is mad that the dad is making it all about himself and says he should be a strong dad to Keenan.
Do you get the feeling that the reason Masaru is interested in Keenan and is interested in this whole bit is because he's projecting his concerns about his own father abandoning him?
Yes.
Okay. I'm glad we've established that.
A lot of what Masaru does about his family values has to do with his own personal issues, and he does project a bit, but I don't think it's not done in a selfish way. It's done in I am passionate about this, I'm passionate about family, I'm passionate about memories, I love my family.
I understand that...
I want to be a good big brother, and I want to be a good father, and I want to be a good carer, and it's what's important to him.
I get the feeling that... I understand that's your reading of it. I get the feeling that it is partly that, and it is partly a defense mechanism where he's trying to convince himself that his father was good. Because he's saying stuff like, you always remember your family, and they always care about you, and families love each other.
Yeah.
And that's what's really important, because it's possible that he does feel abandoned.
Yes.
But he's trying to rationalize it to himself that it wasn't intentional on behalf of his dad, but
Yes.
it's hard. I don't think I'm not sure he's entirely managing it.
Yeah, well, he wouldn't. But I don't know, it's kind of sweet that he has this. I love Masaru.
So we get the scene, right, where Ikuto is sitting in a big field of flowers, all
Yep.
being, like emoing it up. And this is another stupid, like, not plot breaking. It doesn't change the plot particularly, but it breaks the suspension of disbelief a lot. Because what's one thing about Digimon that is funny and hilarious every time? Because it's just how Digimon would be.
Not knowing what things are.
They don't know how the real world works.
Yeah.
They don't know how humans work. And they don't know what things are because they live in a different reality.
Yes.
And that's fair enough. And what is it? What's important to note about the way Digimon? I wouldn't even say reproduce, but like how do they work? Right? They come out of eggs. They
come out
all
of
look
eggs.
exactly the same.
Yes.
And then they evolve.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Great. So Almon seems to understand despite all of that, Almon seems to understand hereditary phenotypes, because he says she had the same hair as you do, so you must be related.
No, I'm gonna take the same sort of thing but a different way and try to explain this. So Digimon, yeah, as you said, come out of eggs, and
Yeah.
they're the same species.
Okay.
And they often have the same color of fur.
Sure.
So you could also say like, oh, you laugh the same, and the way you stand is the same, and the way like the same color, you have the same color. So arguably you could say that about a Greymon and a Metal Greymon, like the orange Metal Greymon.
You
or the
can
blue
also
one.
say that about a Gabumon and an Agumon. What's your point?
You can't say that, no, but they don't carry themselves the same. They don't sound the same. So he's commenting on the way that she laughs about how it sounds the same. You could say, "Oh, Greymon, you roar like the Metal Greymon, and you have the same
Nothing
color
like
as the
Agumon,
Metal
though.
Greymon." Yeah, but we're not talking about the Agumon. We're talking about the Greymon here, because they're two ones
Very
look the same.
abstract point.
So the point is, Falcomon might know the difference between it.
Falcomon looks nothing like Peckmon.
Both purple, both birds, both have the same voice.
Piomon looks nothing like Birdramon.
They have the same voice.
No, they don't.
The point is, they laugh the same. I don't know.
Sora!
I see
Sora! Oh, it's real
Garurumon.
similar. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Garurumon.
Okay, what does Berdramon's voice sound like? No, it doesn't. I mean, like, it can screech sometimes. Does it say words? Because I bet you it doesn't sound like Piomon.
You're right. I think it just sounds like Garurumon. But the point is, I don't know.
He doesn't... The thing is that Almon doesn't know what parents are.
Okay, yeah, good point. The best line from Adventure, well, one of the best lines from Adventure was, "What's a parents?"
And the thing is, there is, again, it's the thing that it's amazing how it's missing it just by like an inch every time. It's the easiest thing in the world. And the funniest joke they could have made here, is that what you evolve into?
Oh my god.
Is that your perfect form?
That would have been so funny. Like, so that's what you'll evolve into one day.
And you could have used it's got the same hair, and thus, does that mean it's your
Okay, you're
your
right.
adult form?
That would have been funnier.
That's super funny.
And it's likening something that Digimon have, like in the last episode when we had do you have TVs? Yeah, we have paintings with data in them. It's the same sort of thing, like, well, you have this in your world, we have this in our world. And it's like making the similarity, so that would have worked, actually.
Yeah.
Like, oh, she laughs like you, she has the same hair color, that must be what you evolve into. That would have been so cute.
It's so strong. I know, it's frustrating that, like...
Because remember, Ikuto thinks he's Digimon.
And again, this is the opposite of world building. Understand what everyone should know given their backgrounds. And because the world is inconsistent, not just everyone knows whatever. It's fine. Everyone's essentially a human, but sometimes they come from different places. Even though there's meant to be a huge distinction between humans and Digimon. I don't know. We get a weird flashback.
Well, first Ikuto tackles Falcomon and says, "Look, don't you remember what humans did?" And then, we get a flashback of them trying to help Frigimon, who is dying.
Can we just laugh?
No, we can't laugh at
No,
the
we can.
scene.
Because what humans did, there's a big forest fire and there are no humans around. What a great
Yeah,
flashback
but
to what the humans did.
caused this, I think
You
they're
don't know
implying.
that.
Well,
no way for you to know
we
that.
were told this.
Also, was it like a really hot summer in the digital world? Because that's not how forest fires work.
I have no idea. It looks very dramatic. Whatever, I don't care.
So they're in a big clearing and Frigimon's dying and they're trying to carry her around. And then, in probably the most frustrating thing in the world, Frigimon's dying and says, "Keenan, don't hate humans. Really important that you don't hate humans, okay?" In fact, in the English, she goes, promise me you won't hate humans, okay? You are, and then it gets cut off because they're going to say you're a human.
Yeah.
And then it goes, promise me you won't hate humans. Cut back out of the flashback. I hate humans so much!
No, it is quite funny that it goes from, someone saying, look, just remember, don't hate humans, don't forget your kind heart. And then it goes to, flashback, flash forward to the current day, and he's just like, I hate humans!
So he loves Frigimon, but he also doesn't care about her dying wish. Great. Awesome.
Then Ikuto says that he wants to show everyone that that woman is not his mother. In the dub, he just says, I will have my revenge.
I really do think, Ikuto is one of the stupidest people in all of Digimon.
He's a baby.
He's also incredibly stupid.
He grew up in the digital world.
Okay, come on. You can forgive things that are understandable tragedies, right? You can't forgive the mom you love and whose death you're trying to avenge, who literally says to you, please promise me you won't do that. Because that's the opposite of what avenging someone is. Doing the opposite of their dying wish. If I was dying, right? And I was and there was there was a lollipop on the ground, I guess. And I was don't eat that! It is incredibly important to me that you do not eat that lollipop right there.
And I eat it immediately.
Promise me, okay? It's, And the first thing you do is I'm gonna eat that lollipop now. Just gonna eat it. Hell yeah. And then you eat it. Then it turns out it was poison. That was what I was warning you about. That's what killed me.
Lost you, but I got a lollipop out of it. So who's the real winner?
No, well, then you died in that story.
And then someone else has the lollipop. It's a circle of lollipop.
But yeah, that's the whole thing. He's not only disrespecting his beloved mother's dying wish, but it's just not what I think they're going for. Dramatic irony. I think that's what they're going for, but it's missing all the notes. Anyway.
Yeah.
So there's a lightning strike at this point?
Yeah, so a lightning storm starts and the digital gate opens and the mother's like, Akuto's coming back! Ikuto! And it's Haguramon! The best, I love him.
So did they think that someone on the inside of the digital world had somehow activated their gate with no connection?
Didn't we speak about this, how the mother is possibly still not 100% sane?
That's all it could be.
Yeah. So Haguramon attacks them and turns the robot to life and takes control of the entire house.
Oh, can I also mention how she says it in front of the father, who must have turned him in no, that will make you sad though. Stop being excited. Stop wanting it to happen. It will make you sad.
This is really weird because they don't address the fact that the dad ever said, it'll make my wife sad. We don't have this moment of him saying, I was wrong. My wife is happy.
He's just so blatantly wrong. It's so sad.
It's just what an evil character. What an awful character.
So yeah, the gear comes through and it possesses Ikuto's robot from when he was a kid.
And Akuto's dad escapes, and this is there's this kind of heartwarming moment where Akuto's mum gives him the daughter and says, "Oh, take care of our daughter. Just look after yourself, not me."
Okay, why did she do that when they could have just run at the same time?
Because she wanted to help out the daughter first, and because I think she knew that she was going to be captured.
Why would she stop and hand it over when they could have just left?
Because it's dramatic.
Well, that's it, right?
Yes.
They just wasted time.
And then there's a scene where she's super tied up by these cables.
You mean the hentai shots?
But for some reason, it's cut here. That's because it's cut out of the dub. But later on, when we have a very similar scene, it's left in. Because I guess we had to show that she was inside of the robot during the fight.
If you were to ask me, I would say it's because it is actually a bit too much of a hentai shot. I really think they emphasize the chest and all that in the first shot.
They left in a very similar one.
No, I understand they have her tied up later, but I think they de-emphasize it then when it's the thing you're being shown.
Yeah.
Rather than the piece of animation of everything sort of moving. It's pretty strong.
Yeah, no, you see a point.
So Masaru goes down to the bus stop where Yoshi's waiting.
The whole house is a robot?
Yeah.
Robot house!
Robot house! How long has Yoshi been at the bus stop, do you think?
I don't know.
All day?
Long enough to see a cat bus.
Yay, but she didn't go in it. What the hell?
Well, it's dark time now.
So you go on the cat bus at night.
I know. I'm just saying it's nighttime now, and she might have been there since midday. She might have just been staying there for 6 hours, and it's again, it's that dramatic reign of plot happening. Have you noticed that Savers has this problem that wherever something plot convenient happens, not plot convenience, but
dramatic,
plot dramatic or plot important to the plot happens, and it just starts raining.
Yes, that's
it keeps happening, and it's just something important happening. Rain time.
Yeah. So. This is one of those moments we were warned about, right? This episode's what we were warned about, where the distinction between reacting to energy and feeding off energy, ruins the plot of the show.
Yeah.
So, they go, oh, the robot's reacting from the energy to some kind of energy here, and that's why he's going, Mom, must find my mother.
Which is, by the way, horrifying.
A little bit. And
It's just a horrifying episode.
it sort of implies that the robot toy had stored all of these emotional energies 10 years ago, which is stupid, but whatever. It's its own universe. It can do what it wants.
This was a very emotional episode, though, at least.
But in the English, when they say he's feeding off the emotional energy and it's making him act kind of weird, it's just not the same thing, right? It's fine when, you know, the Drillmon comes through and reacting to greed and helps people rob a bank. It's different when this thing comes over, feeds on the emotional energy and says, oh no, now I must find my mommy.
Mama.
So the English version is really stupid, is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. It tends to be. Like when Falcomon sees it, it's Hagurumon. And in the original, Ikuto wonders if Hagurumon sent him, and Falcomon says no. And how Hagurumon is too stubborn to be working alongside anyone. In the dub, Falcomon says, it's weird that Hagurumon would be working alongside Gotsumon because Hagurumon is stubborn.
I think it was saying it was unlikely, but that was my reading of it.
Yeah, but it seems like Falcomon's saying it's possible.
Maybe.
But in the original, he's saying it's impossible. There's no chance.
So Dats reports in and says, hey guys, you need to make it to this position because there's a Digimon there. And they say, that's the house. And they go over. All right, Yoshi, Masaru, and Ikuto show up, and they're right there. And the dad walks over, and his son, who he lost 10 years ago, is right there. And he says,
please save my wife.
oh, my wife's in there. All right, you two children I've never met before today, you go do that.
Does the father even talk to his son in this episode?
No. I'm pretty sure he never addresses him.
Even in the heartwarming, moment where the mum runs up to the son and hugs him and, strokes his face and is so happy to see him.
The dad's just behind ugh, damn, my plan of 10 years is just falling apart.
The mum is actually a really genuine, nice character, it seems to be. She's like, I love my son and I was really emotional because I effectively caused the possible death of my son. That's reasonable, but he's, the dad not wanting the mum to see the son is kind of that's a bit weird.
I definitely agree. So Masaru goes and fights the robot, and he wins. He punches the robot's arm off. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, but a bit before that, when Toma is saying how the Hagurumon came through because of the feelings in the robot, and Yoshino says there's no way that Ikuto would remember that, and Masaru says that Ikuto can't just trick his feelings because nothing can erase the feelings of family. In the dub, he says it doesn't seem as emotional, but more the way he says the very similar thing about how nothing can erase the love and feelings of friendship. And he says how the feelings are always there. But it just, for some reason, this scene in the dub doesn't seem as emotional.
Well,
he seems angry.
You know what the problem here is? And this is what I think about Masaru. I think he's projecting because it's very obvious from the way the episode goes that what's happening is that the emotions that the gear thing is reacting to were in the toy because he started doing that before Ikuto showed up, right? He showed up initially, grabbed the robot, and then all of this began to happen. And Ikuto was in the distance. He wasn't around. Now Ikuto shows up and they say, oh, you must be subconsciously feeling these things. That's not true. It's reading the robot.
Yeah.
That seems incredibly obvious. And I think that it's interesting, the idea that Masaru's like, no, you must be feeling this way because you miss your family, because that's what he's feeling inside.
Yeah, and also he touches the little sort of charm, I think it's a dog tag around his neck. And I just love how whenever he references that being important to him or important to his dad, it's just this really subtle thing. It's always he touches it really tenderly. It's really nice. Ikuto's father says the robot may have remnants of Ikuto's powerful feelings from when he was a baby, which, that's magic.
It's the robot.
Yes.
And, it is magic. But I said before, this is their own world. If they want to say that people invest emotional energy into stuff that they really care about, I would accept that. They just need to say it.
Yeah.
Okay? If you have a family heirloom, I would understand if Digimon really want that thing or react really heavily to those things because they have power to them. That's a lot of stuff that happens in the Dresden Files, which is a book series about wizards and magic, and just human emotions have a lot to do with how magical something is. So, as an example, the Shroud of Turin, which is the death shroud that Jesus was buried in.
Yep.
Really magical, despite the fact that it's just a cloth, because everyone believes it's magic.
All right, so I have a question.
Yes.
So this robot was the thing that Ikuto was sent to the digital world with, right?
Yes.
And he was holding it a lot as a baby, a newborn baby.
Correct.
And when the parents found it, they brought it back.
Yes.
The dad thinks that any remnants of Ikuto would harm the mother's mental state.
I'm calling it that it was hidden in a box in the garage.
Okay, that makes more sense. I was going to say, why didn't you just throw it away?
Yeah.
Like, what if my wife... Because if he's, like, so distraught, he wouldn't even let his wife know that his son isn't dead. Like, I feel like he would have thrown that out if he actually believes that any reminder will impact his wife's mental state. I feel like a normal person who felt like that would have thrown it away.
Well, maybe if you were going to throw the robot away, you would have destroyed the portal that ate your son.
Also that too. Maybe they haven't... We can just say we haven't been in the garage since 10 years ago.
Except that they had to go into the digital world, grab the robot, and then go back to the garage to put it away. But
Yes.
sure, why not?
That too.
All right, cool.
So Masaru just shatters the robot house fist.
He punches its arm off.
But it's like, to be fair, Hagurumon is just a child
house.
level. Yes, but the Digimon inside is a child level.
If you punch that wall right now, you wouldn't break the whole wall.
Yes, but this is why we had to get to perfect level to beat the house. But in general, like, if you punch something, Masaru's really strong also. I think we're forgetting that.
Okay, well, yeah, sure, why not? So then he evolves Greymon and it fights the house until it knocks off a window and they go, oh, the mom's inside there. We can no longer attack her, she might die.
Yeah.
Ikuto then flies in and saves her after a bit of hesitation. And once he saves her, Greymon blows up the house robot.
Oh, and we also get this moment of when they're talking about, he can't remember. And Ikuto says, Mama! Because he hears the robot saying, Mama! And he remembers it.
I have a question for you.
Yes?
Is the blue stuff on Ikuto's face a tattoo?
I think so.
Because it doesn't come off in the rain.
I think it's a tattoo.
I'd be-
Digimons have tattoos.
I'd be really fascinated if... Okay, but how did they give tattoos?
It's Digimon. It's data. Digitized.
I would be really fascinated.
You're all data. You could probably edit your data in some
If
way.
at any point later in the series you see him without it.
I think we do. Maybe.
Then it's not a
I want it to
tattoo.
be a tattoo, though.
What's weird face paint that he clearly must reapply every couple days?
He's hanging out with Masaru, and Masaru's like, man, I want to be in a gang. Cool face tat. I want to get a tattoo too. And he gets like matching tattoos with Ikuto.
And Ikuto goes, what's a tattoo? And peels off these stickers on his face.
And Masaru's already like, he's like halfway through getting it done on his face and
He's
just
like,
sitting there.
That's cool.
I'll look cool. It's fine. I'll get a dragon tat on my back
Tattoos
next.
aren't weird in Japan at all.
Yeah, but he wants to be part of a gang. That's normal.
Yeah, no, but you don't give it on your face.
Yeah, good point. You get it on your back and your arm to show that you're in the Yakuza.
Yeah, and all the way into the circle here over your chest, just a bit. I play a lot of Yakuza.
Yeah, also like, yeah.
All right, so the mom goes and hugs Ikuto, and it's kind of nice.
And strokes his face.
And then the Minister of Confidentiality shows up. He got there really quick. And he's like, we're arresting the dad because you used a digital gate and they're banned.
Yes.
But we didn't take it away from you even though we knew you had it. Whatever. We were also able to monitor it because that's a thing. And don't tell me they just detected a digital gate opening because that's been happening tons without a big machine being used.
I think it's because they had a tracker on it.
And it didn't even draw
it.
down lots of power from the grid, which is how one way you would do it because lightning's what activated it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Good point.
And then the mom's like, no, it was my fault. And he's like, well, I guess I'll arrest you instead because that's how criminal investigation works.
Yeah.
You just wait for someone to say,
oh, I did it actually, though.
I did it, sure. You know that if you go down to a police station right now and say that you killed someone, they will not arrest you?
Yeah, because like, well, there's no proof.
Exactly.
They'll say, okay, do you have any information to tell us? Who was it? And why? Where? Do you have any proof that you did that?
What would be,
They'll take it seriously for sure, but they won't like you to say, okay, I'm going to arrest you and put you in jail now.
And this is one of those things that's really interesting about the law and how arresting people works. It is completely nonsense that the crime that got committed was you activated a digital gate. That's what it is, right? Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay, the crime would be having a digital gate that is able to be activated because that's super easy to prove, right? It's there. It was in your garage. That makes sense. It's the same way that drugs work. It is not illegal, as far as I'm aware, to be found with drugs in your system, right? It can be completely identifiable. You took like a bunch of cocaine like 10 minutes ago. Not illegal.
I think it's only illegal if you're driving.
That's different.
Yeah.
But because that's inebriated driving, that's a different act. What is illegal is possession. You have it on you. Because they can prove you have it on you. You made a decision. You have a thing.
You could have been just drugged. Like someone could have given it to you without your without you knowing.
And in this situation, you are being arrested for turning on a digital gate. Well, maybe they didn't do it.
Also, they can't see it.
Maybe
so
someone else did.
yeah. But
Who knows?
okay, so with her admitting to it, what I got from this is that she invented it. Like, she is the main person who made that.
Or she just is overwhelmed by guilt.
No, I didn't take it that way. I just thought that she was like, it was her invention. But that's just the way I interpreted it, because I just wanted this woman to be, you know, very, very intelligent. And,
I understand
And
where you're
have her
coming from.
husband as an assistant.
But
That's just me.
I
That's
get
just
it.
me wanting a very intelligent woman leader who, yeah, the husband.
Sure.
You'd think that he's in charge, but no, he's just the assistant
Sure, why not?
who is dumb and puts his
So
kid in
doesn't
front.
matter. And then
Ikuto says no, I am
like, I'm all
Spartacus.
for women in STEM fields.
Yeah.
Like that's great. I just don't think that like it's relevant to the story of this particular show.
No, but I think it'd be cool.
And then Ikuto's like, wait, no, it was actually me. Also, I'm a Digimon and I hate humans and blah, blah. It's clear that in this case he's trying to deflect from them.
Yeah, he's trying to look like a threat. He's like, I
However-
will kill humans. I will kill the evil humans.
I feel like they're all so stupid that even like Masaru was like, no, I thought he was becoming our friend, but clearly I was wrong.
Masaru's not bright.
And one of the big differences, and I guess the biggest difference in this episode to me, is at this point in Japanese, oh, well, arrest him as well, right? So
Yeah.
Ikuto's thing didn't do anything. And in English, it's arrest him instead.
Yes.
So the question will be very clear. In the next episode, is Ikuto's mom in custody?
I can't remember.
Well, we'll find out.
I guess we will. Then we see that Gotsumon is talking to Makurimon, and he's saying how Ikuto betrayed them and attacked Gotsumon when he tried to get him back to the digital world from the human world.
A thing that I'm pretty sure Mukurumon said don't do.
Yes. Also, I just want to point out, I love how in Savers they are not calling it the real world.
Finally.
And they've been
It's so frustrating when they do that.
I think I forgot to mention this a couple of episodes ago when Mercurimon's talking about the real world. He's not saying the human world. Like, he's not saying the real world. He's saying the human world. As in the world where humans come from, there is the digital world, which is digital.
Yeah.
That's fine. And then we have the human world, which has the humans in it.
That's the exact sort of thinking that's like good and what I've been asking for every other
Because
season.
you've always said, why is it the real world? If you lived in the digital world, wouldn't the real world be the digital world? Because that's what's
the
real
one
to
you
you.
live in. It makes
Yeah.
sense in Atmon, where they are aware, because of the way they operate,
Yeah.
of the interaction between the worlds. But we're in a universe where
Also,
going
it's
back
not
and
It's not
forth...
the digital world even in there. It's like, oh yeah, there's the AR field, and then there's the deep web.
No, but then there's the real world.
Yeah,
Which means the digital world and the real world.
yeah.
And it makes sense from your perspective. Oh, the real world's what I live in. If you tomorrow were to... It's not the Matrix, right? In the Matrix, you find out, okay, one's fake, one's real.
Yes.
Okay. But on the other hand, if you were to open up a portal to a parallel Earth that's exactly the same as this one, except, I don't know, maybe an election result went differently. Use your imagination. You wouldn't walk through and then be like, the real world. The one I came from wasn't real. It was. You were there.
Yeah. It was real to you.
Also, Digimon has, especially in Savers especially, I think Frontier was similar, but in Savers definitely, there's no even discussion of like, does this world exist in the computers? Is it as a result of it being electricity? It doesn't say that. It's just a world in which the rules operate differently, and they just use the word digital, and it doesn't mean anything.
I think it's because it assumes that you, as a viewer, have seen Digimon before.
Oh
And
boy,
you
does it!
You know it.
Oh boy, does it with a lot of this
Like,
stuff.
even though there's not any direct continuities between seasons 1 and 2, then with 3 and 3, and then with 4, and then with 5, and then with onward seasons, except for Cross Wars, which also had like the season 1 and 2 from Adventure sort of feel, where they were the same sort of thing. There's no like continuity between that, but it still assumes that you as a viewer have basic knowledge of what the digital world is. They'll explain some mechanics here and there, like what's a Digivice, but besides that, there's not too much.
But the problem with that assumption, right? That assumption is totally fine if the rules are always the same. But they keep changing the rules. What's an armor evolution? What's this new fusion? Why do these kids not have partner Digimon? What are the chosen children in this case?
Why does punching happen? Does everyone have DNA?
Yeah, what's DNA? What do the Digivices do? Are they holy? Are they things that people made? Do Digimon have genders? These are all questions that, like, each season answers differently. So, on one hand, it's totally fine to be like, well, you know what the digital world is. You've seen them before. On the other hand, we change stuff all the time. So, what is it?
Yeah. Anyway, back to this scene. So Gotsumon's just straight up lying to Makurimon, and Makurimon, despite not telling like, he told Gotsumon not to go back. He's kind of like, I don't really believe you. Like, that doesn't sound like something Ikuto would do. And Gotsumon's like, well, we should get them and we should kill them. And Makumon says, look, that's not the time for that. That will just cause more issues. In the dub, he says, look, that would just cause harm to our allies. We shouldn't do that. We should think this over.
That's fair enough.
And then Saberleomon shows up, who, by the way, is probably one of the least threatening enemies ever, as someone who has seen Digimon before.
He's like, oh, look at Leomon, look at that.
Oh, he's going to die in, what, a couple of episodes, maybe?
So you were saying about them having rules because they expect you've seen all the rest of Digimon?
Yeah, so, yeah, I was just about to say, in the same vein, it's just kind of like the viewers are just sitting there going, well, that never works out particularly well.
Because if you were watching this in isolation, you'd say, oh, that was a silhouette in the flashbacks.
Exploration team.
And then you're just like, oh, he's going to die.
And he's really strong, and he looks, his big line, his saber tooth looks really strong. Yeah, and then if you watched it other seasons before, he's like, oh, that's just a Leomon evolution. He'll die really easily.
Also, alternatively, I expect you to see Digimon before. Wait, aren't Leomons always good guys?
No, the white Leomon from Frontier that they saw.
Yeah, but it wasn't even called Leomon.
And Takumon killed it in 5 minutes.
And Gotsumon are usually
evolution.
friendly? Like, what's going on? Even the evil one in Adventure was friendly.
Okay, yeah, Gotsumon are usually friendly.
Yeah, so like...
More or less.
It's so weird that it goes, this is the way things work, right? You remember Digimon, except for that.
Also, someone
But what about this? No, not that either.
Someone on, like, Digimon in general really likes Gotsumon because he's been in, like, every season.
It's a really simple design.
Yeah, good point. And it's very, like... the thing is, it's, like... It's very Digimon. Even though
Geodude.
Geodude looks different. Geodude looks like a Pokemon. Gotsumon looks like a Digimon.
Yeah, I guess. Because it's more of a person.
Yeah, Digimon are more like kind of like cute in a human way. Not like cute, no, that's a pet.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's the difference between Pokemon and Digimon. Lalamon's just a Pokemon.
God, boy, is it
Lalamon's just a Pokemon.
Is it ever?
Shujaterum. So Saberleomon shows up and is not menacing in the slightest. And he says that Marukimon has gone soft. And also in the dub, he has the Trubimon voice. And also every other Leomon we've ever seen. Voice.
Also, the bad guy voice from every season. Oh,
yeah.
It's really deep, so it's scary.
Also, same voice as we just saw a couple of episodes ago in Metal Phantomon.
Uh-huh.
Like, oh, it's a good voice.
It's fine.
Like, it was also, it's been every Leomon throughout Digimon.
Yeah.
Because it's a good voice.
Mm-hmm.
He has a good voice. It's a good bad guy voice, good Leomon voice, and the fact that they got it both in bad guy and Leomon, it sounds good. It's good. What do you think of this episode as someone who is new to Digimon?
Oh my god, the dad is so frustrating.
The dad is evil,
Oh
like
my
straight
god.
up, right?
It's so implied that he is evil, but I'm sure that the writers were just like, this is what normal people act like, right? He's just a concerned father. He's very responsible.
But the fact that he was completely wrong should lead you to believe that, he's just an idiot, or he's evil.
No, mothers are just stupid and don't know what's good for them.
They don't know what feelings are. They need a man to think for them. I don't know.
Sorry, that one got me.
I feel like that's not the case because it may or may not have been implied, at least in the original version, that the mum may have mainly been the inventor of the digital portal.
Who knows? Anyway,
I want that to be true.
So, I just don't think it was very good because of that.
I liked it.
Also, the English is even worse. He's feeding on the energy, and I guess it's making him kind of drunk.
Yeah, well, that happened a lot in Savers. It just says, he's just drunk on the energy.
Why would they change it to ruin it this way? Someone asked Jeff Memoy why they ruined it.
So let's just talk about the rating, because we already rated the first part. What about the second part just on its own? I gave it an 8.5. I really enjoyed it. I found it was
5.
emotional. Woof.
It's 5.
Wow. I guess you agree that it was better than the last one then.
Yes.
What about together? Because I would give both these episodes together like a 7.5.
4.5, obviously. That's the average.
Wow.
What are you talking about? It all undermines itself in stupid ways.
Yeah, I still enjoyed it. Like, there are problems that we have discussed and that have become clear after our discussing of it. But I still enjoyed these episodes.
I didn't really.
I didn't mind watching them twice.
I did.
I mean, it's always like, it takes extra time to watch them twice, but you know what? It's fine. I found them emotional. I liked Masaru being all like, but feelings though. And even the little stupid dumb line, which was a reference to Axel saying, got it memorized. It's the only thing I know about Kingdom Hearts. And a lot of people said, there are lots of Kingdom Hearts references in all of Dub
Main character's
Squad.
name is Sora and he has keyblades. You've never heard of any of that stuff?
Besides the obvious, one of the things that I know that's a meme is the got it memorized. That's what he says.
It's just
Same voice actor.
what he says.
Just what he says. And I don't know, it was enjoyable and it was emotional and I think I shed a tear at one point. It was
Wow, you are pathetic.
Look, it was just really sweet with the whole family thing. It gets me.
You're sad.
And I really like the mum. The dad's evil.
Eri makes you cry all the time.
Eri makes me cry so much because she's the best girl.
She is.
She's just best girl. She tried to punch and fight a robot.
Number one
It was
waifu.
great. Number one waifu. She's great. But the point is, this was good. I like this. Personally, I like this episode. It was enjoyable. It did its job of being a Digimon episode. And I think this is probably one of the best episodes we've seen.
Wow, that's pathetic.
I also really like the Lalamon evolution
That is
episode.
truly pathetic.
But no, I really like this. It was great. How did this episode compare to your predictions in Obnoxious Synopsis?
I don't remember.
I think you just said Ikuto would be annoying and Ikuto would be dumb a
It's
lot.
not about what's annoying. Hold on a second. I do feel like I made some kind of bold claims. Like I think that I said like God's mom would capture the mom or something, and it was literally said this was not a plan by any of the bad guys. It was totally a random Digimon who would not be associated with the bad guys,
Yeah.
and he was doing it kind of by accident.
Yes.
And you knew it was an accident because he was saying, "Where's my mom?" Even though he already grabbed the mom.
Yeah. It was just there for emotions and feelings and stuff, right?
Emotions and feelings and stuff. So I said that Dad brings Ikuto's real family. Called it. He doesn't believe them
Yep.
until he sees his mother. Until he sees his mother actually captured. That was exactly correct.
Yep.
Because when he sees her, he's finally like, oh, "Mama."
Mama.
And he has a necessary flashback, which is not the kind of flashback I thought he would have. I thought he would have it like to seeing her face or something.
Yeah, but he has he also has like that rather heartwarming flashback of
Heartwarming because the forest's on fire. I get it.
No, it's a flashback again. It's a flashback back to the flashback we already had when his mum is stroking his face and he remembers Frigimon and her kindness when she was stroking his face.
That too.
It's nice. What were the major differences that you noticed between the Japanese version and the English dub?
So the big one for me, it must be that he's feeding on the energy. Like, oh, he's just out here because he's hungry for energy. Also, it makes him want his mama, I think.
Maybe. See, mine was that the wife's, like, really intense emotions seem to be downplayed in the dub. The original seems to say how the wounds are just starting to heal just now with the birth of the daughter. And the dub, it's basically implied she's all better. Like, daughter was born, all better now.
It's fine.
I also noticed that the scene where Yoshino points out how Masaru was actually trying to really, he was trying really hard to look after Ikuto, and the dub is just her being sassy. I don't know, I really like the original line for this, and I don't like how they changed it. It wasn't so much a major difference as just something didn't sit right with me. Then we know that Yoshino is used to children because she's a babysitter. That was just an added thing that we have in the dub.
Enjoy that.
But overall, the episodes weren't that different, except for a few minor things here and there, right?
Pretty much.
Have you noticed that family is a pretty heavy theme in Savers, like even more so than any other season?
I guess.
We had a bit of it in Frontier, and we've had a bit of it here and there throughout the other seasons. But this one seems to be really heavy with the whole family as a theme. And it goes back to what I mentioned a couple of episodes ago, how each kid has a not necessarily fully non-tragic background, even though Masaru's handling it fine. Because we have Masaru's dad disappeared. Yoshino has issues with not being the best and some sort of anxiety about not performing as well as her sisters.
True, but that's not even technically a family thing. That's her internal struggle with herself,
it's about
reflected
upbringing.
through her family.
And then we have Toma, which we don't know the story about the dad, but we know that the mum died in front of his eyes and he's blaming himself. And we know that Ikuto was just in a portal.
Well, we know that she died there. We don't actually know he blames himself.
I would.
I read into it that he would do
Yeah.
that because that's the logical story to tell. But boy, did they not actually tell that story.
And then these episodes, we have some nice speeches from Masaru about being a child and memories and feelings that you have towards your family. Do you think, Savers seems to be quite a dark season? People always say that Tamers is really dark and as dark as Digimon gets, but I think that Savers is, kind of going on a similar sort of dark path. It's dark in different ways. Where Tamers had, this girl has, a severe depressive meltdown, and then the bad guy uses that and turns her into a demon, basically. Which is, kind of just, general horror, except for the depression part. That's dark. But in Savers, it's just, general darkness, as in depressing things like family and struggles.
I don't think it's quite as depressing as you make it out to be.
I know. I just feel like
Masaru's doing fine.
I know. Yeah, Masaru's like a lot of people would just be crumbling. Oh, I have daddy issues, but he's like using them to be a better person. And like his main issue is like, but what if something happens to my sister?
A better street thug who punches people.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm gonna protect my sister. It's great. Also, like, how awful is Ikuto's dad?
Like, he's the worst character since Kouji's dead.
Yeah, like the same sort of thing that like when you read into it, he gets like gradually worse. Like Kouji's dad was like, well, that was kind of a bad move.
They called to say your son who you thought died isn't dead. And he's like, yeah, my wife doesn't need to know that.
Also, how terrible a dad's in this series of Digimon. Like, do any of the characters have present fathers?
They,
Yoshino, we don't know has a father. Toma, we assume he has a father,
haven't seen
but
the
he's not
two
present.
fathers who are available that we haven't already seen.
I think they're not present. I think it's just showing, yeah, look, men aren't important. Or men are awful, either way.
That's one way of looking at it.
I don't know, I find it's an interesting thing that we have, like, they all have, like, mothers that are present. Except for, obviously, Toma, but he had a mother, and he was living with his mother. And then we have, like, the fathers not be so present. Don't you think that's an interesting thing that none of the kids have fathers?
Not as much as you clearly do.
I know, I find it an interesting, like, coincidence that they all have. So, screenshot of the week, mine is what looks to be Masaru fist bumping a house.
Mine is what appears to be Ikuto's parents throwing him into the portal.
Goodbye, child. Matane. Goodbye. Digimon design introduced. I was dumb and forgot to, despite loving this Digimon, say Guapamon in episode 121, which we did last week.
Use the exact same comments I said about, what's his name? Oh, Christ.
Kamimon?
Kamimon, yeah.
Look, I love him, and
It's
I
a
will
stupid
fight
turtle.
for him.
In fact,
I will
no,
fight for him.
Guapamon's worse.
Why is Guapamon worse?
Because he looks dumb. It's like a ragdoll.
Well, he's my best friend, and you can't just insult my best friend, Rowan.
Too bad, already done.
Oh no, that's sad.
Killed.
No! The Postmon Pat, first up, our weekly poll for this week was, do you like Lilymon or Lilamon? Jay will read the comments and I will read out the results.
We got one from Autumn who says, Lilamon looks like a Lilymon who's dressed for breezy spring mornings as opposed to warm summer afternoons. They're not particularly fond of warm summer afternoons. They cause ice cream to melt much too quickly. Ellie says, something that always bothers me about Digimon designs is how human a lot of them look. Lilymon could literally be a human in cosplay, apart from her face. Lilamon, on the other hand, is still humanoid, but her flower-like arms and legs give her a much more distinctly alien feel. And if you described Lilymon to a mediocre artist, they'd definitely draw something closer to Lilymon than Lilamon, because they'd draw a human with flowery parts stuck on top. Chuckmon says, wow, this voting is close. This could be an unknown, hotly contested Digimon issue. Are there a lot of those? They said they picked Lilymon, if only for the boots. Where Lilamon is graceful, Lilymon is playful. They'd welcome in a beautiful, serene summer morning without Lilamon, but they'd want to picnic with Lilymon. Of course, they'd trade them both to hang out with Palmon.
Me too, I love Palmon.
Kyle says, I voted for Lilymon. Lilymon has more of the plant-based fairy look about her, while Lilamon is just strange. Lilymon has recognizable hands and feet, very clear wings that look like wings, and an awesome cannon that emerges from a blooming flower. Lilamon has weird flower things for hands and feet, and shoots laser Cheerios. I think the flower of Lilamon's back is supposed to be wings, but they don't move, so I can't tell.
I think they're wings.
Also, Lilamon looks like someone dumped a bowl of green spaghetti on her head and left the flower-themed bowl there as a hat.
Yeah, I can see that.
And Vincent says, Lilymon is a much better Digimon in their opinion. She actually has a decent design, unlike Lilamon, who looks very unappealing to them, and just a discount Lilymon. Exactly. Lilymon is very cute, and I enjoy how playful her personality is.
So this vote had 21 votes, and Lilymon won with 11 votes. So obviously Lilamon only had 10.
Wait, was it 11 to 10?
Yes.
That's amazing. That was really close.
Chuckmon said it was close. It was close.
I didn't know the results were on the page. I don't visit our own polls.
Yeah. We have the weekly poll, which is embedded in a blog post every week, and I also link this in on the top of the page in the menu. So you should check that out. Check out our website, yo. I've actually starting to post things now. You should read it. It's great. And now we will go on to the rest of the Postmon Pat comments. So on With the Will, we have McGann, who says, I have copied that incorrectly. Oh no, it's actually included in the weekly poll question. McGann says, I prefer Lilymon. She's one of my favourite designs, though I do like Lilamon as well. she does look like a more mature version of the design. Like, she could be Lilymon's older sister. Not that Digimon have families, except for the times they do.
Yeah, like in this season. Chuckmon says, Guapamon is old generation Musimon. He loves the discs on his head. He's not feeling the cyborg classification. Also, he's wearing swimming fins. Or does he have webbed feet and he's just wearing boots? Sumimon is pretty cool. The clawed base makes them look more menacing than Kurumon. The old man hooking Kurumon by the eyeball with his rod in episode 18 was gross.
Yeah, it was.
And regarding the manga, they say they love Taichi. He's laid back and has a huge heart. They're glad that I'm enjoying it. And they're looking forward to the next manga series once V-Tamer is over. They've never read any other Digimon manga. And why has Bandai not moved on to Digimon V-Pets into the app world?
I'd love that. I know there are unofficial ones, but I would really like an official Digimon V-Pet mobile phone app. That'd be great.
Fair. We got one from Togatak who says that they like Guapamon, but his entire line suffers from this weird issue of looking kind of similar enough to go, yeah, I guess that's an evolution. But
Yeah.
when one evolves into another, but not really any concrete coherent theme that carries through or even directly links
I mean,
them.
isn't that what you could say about
They're
a lot of
turtles.
Digimon evolutions?
No, I mean,
Like,
you
some of them,
could,
they just take a general theme and they just change something about that theme, and sometimes not everything in the line matches up.
Yeah, but they should. That's how good ones work. And they said Kaimon is a turtle crossed with a wireless mouse, whose name is a pun on digital cameras, while Guapamon is still a turtle, a kappa. But now he's stitched together, DJ with a head full of discs.
I love it.
There's a vague theme of kind of like a turtle, but nothing that's actually coherent.
I love Guapamon. He's
fair.
my friend.
Ataru Tarumon says, I believe Lilymon's reference book profile outright states that she resembles a human child.
Yeah.
And so technically Lilamon could be an older version since she appears to be much older.
Yeah, and she
design-wise.
does.
We got from Jay Ukio who says that Guapamon's theme is derpy versions of Japanese legends that are vaguely like turtles, obviously.
Yeah.
We got a Gmail from Embermoto who says they like that my mispronunciation of titles, it always makes them laugh.
Don't tell
Take
him that.
Yeah,
Don't
it's
tell him that.
enjoyable.
You'll give him power.
More people like it besides me. We got from Thomas. Sorry, no. Emamoto continues. Thomas is 14 years old. There is no way he has a medical license. Okay, so let's say, for the sake of argument, that he's only been at DATS for 1 year and that he was recruited right after getting his license. It still would have required around 8 years of college to get this, meaning that Thomas must have started taking college classes when he was 5 years old. I did a little bit of research. The youngest I could find was Sho Yano, who got his license at 21 after starting college when he was 12.
Wow, okay.
Also, why does Thomas have a medical license? What possessed him to get one at such a young age? There must have been a reason. That's a fairly good question. Literally, the only reason is they thought to themselves, this character's meant to be a genius. What do geniuses have? Well, they're doctors, so I guess he's one of those. That's hilarious, though. I knew it had to be really stupid and off, but wow, that's even more off than I thought.
There is a reason why he became a doctor. Why the writers decided to make him a doctor, I don't know, but I know that there's a reason why he as a character became a doctor.
No, it's fair. Like, his mom died and he couldn't help her and he was in the hospital, blah, 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 blah. They're all reasonable motivations.
Oh, do you think that's a reason?
It could be. Okay. Point is, he's 14. He couldn't be a doctor. And they say in episode 18, they agree with me, Keenan should have wondered about whether or not he was a Digimon a lot sooner. You mentioned things like not being called Keenanmon, but one tip off we didn't mention is that there's no other Keenans in the digital world. That's really fair, because there's always copies. Although
the Pokemon village.
Nah, but if you think about it, there's like, how many Cherubimons were there in Frontier?
One.
How many Mercurymons do you think there are? There might not be copies of them. So but I understand the reasoning.
Well, so far in this one, the only doubles of evolutions we've seen are Airdramon, where there were a couple of them flying, and Baby Digimon, but they're Baby Digimon,
And
so
the
that they might
big
all
bugs
evolve.
in this episode?
Yeah, the big bugs in this episode, but it hasn't been as often as the Pokemon village or the Koromon village.
Yeah, well,
they seem more unique in this season.
they go on to say, we know that more than one of each species of Digimon exists, so why is Keenan never questioned why they've never come across any other Keenans? And it could be there's like rarities of them, but he could expect to find more maybe. Ryuichi says they love the transitions we end up with sometimes from editing. Last time Jay goes, did you buy them, being the VLS, just for that? Looking for Digimon, and then you change the subject. Another time, May ended Obnoxious Synopsis with, hopefully it won't be a bad episode. The transition music plays, and you open the main section with, this was a bad episode.
That is that is by mistake. Like, we do the Obnoxious Synopsis except for today, where we did the Obnoxious Synopsis for the next episode today before this episode. We usually do them like the day of the full edited release of the main episode. So usually, like, by the time we record the episode that Obnoxious Synopsis is for, I have no idea how I signed off the last episode.
It's been a week.
Yeah.
They say they don't listen to the raws because of audio processing difficulties. As always, kudos to you for your stellar editing work, May. So they're assuming that these come from editing, and they always find them quite funny. And no one else probably even notices them. Well, the Obnoxious Synopsis ones definitely do, because they're separate files.
But the ones that are in the actual episode, I do try to segue after a good point, like after one of us has said something funny, or if it just sounds like a good way, or, we're done with the episode, or Jay's said something wacky, I don't know. I usually try to make the segments make sense, and
I will
my
also say,
segues.
though, importantly,
Yeah.
about 5% of the time, I will just say something, like, I will make a point, and May will look at her notes and just, like, continue on with the show.
Yeah, if I have nothing to say, I'll just like, oh, well,
Yeah.
I'm not going to contribute.
Also, with reference to the poll, they say the first time they saw Lilamon, they thought exactly the same thing I did. They felt like they were redesigning Lilymon. They were already bringing in Agumon and Biomon, so why not? Also, only Lilamon's design was worse. They liked my statement of somebody describing Lilymon to someone who can't draw. It sounds accurate to them. Sorry, May. And also, they're glad that someone else talked about the theme of how a real man acts. When Jay mentioned it in terms of toxic masculinity, they were going to say something. As a transgender man, they think it's important to make the distinction, and they were always really interested in Marcus's desire to be a good man and seeing how that played out. They agree with you, May, that they think he would be a feminist because being raised by a single mom, that would be part of being a man. Fair enough. It's not part of my lived experiences, and that's it's not my area of expertise in any way. I've skipped up to the top of this thing. Let's get all the way back down. They're continuing to watch Atmon, even though they're not super into it. They're the weird fan that thought it was a good concept and haven't been interested in the execution. It's the opposite of everyone. But they liked the last episodes they've watched, was 20 and 21. So maybe there's hope for me yet. Oh, it gets really good.
I think it gets, after, like, I feel like Atmon's, like, there are parts where it gets kind of, like, okay.
Oh, and in the episode where Offmon runs away, just skip it. Just skip that episode.
Yeah, and the recap.
It's a waste of time. The recap's a waste of time.
Is that 26 or 36? I don't know, but it is
26, I think.
It is a skippable episode, the recap.
And they finally say, out of curiosity, once we finish Lane, are we going to continue with a different side podcast or relax with one less that you have to do? I want it to be that, but May's a slave driver, so I don't know.
Well, we do have the manga one that will be on running for quite a while because there's quite a lot of Digimon manga, so obviously we're doing next. And then we also have another Patreon milestone, which we haven't met
They're literally about to talk about it.
Oh,
so
yes, okay, yes, yeah, go ahead, yeah.
They said they're hoping that we get to the next milestone and Jay gets to choose something around that time. They wish they had the money to get us to the next one because they really want me to get something that I like. And I'm already giving more than I probably should. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, so I think we've got like $30 more to go.
Yeah. Well, look, when we get there...
30 people give $1 each, and they get access to our Slack chat.
Yeah.
We'll get to it, and then what we'll probably do is, because I don't think we could handle doing effectively like an additional like 3 podcasts, if we did get to that milestone before we finish Lane, if we even get to it.
But Atmon will be done.
Oh, I guess that's a point, yeah.
Yeah, so we'd be doing less work then than we're doing now, because Atmon would be done.
That's fair.
And we, instead of doing 4 Atmons a week, we'd be doing one of my show, Gurren Lagann. Definitely.
Yeah, that's fair. And, yeah, we do Gurren Lagann first.
Because I want to watch that show again.
Yeah, and then we can do other anime that you like.
And you've only seen like the first episode, right?
Yeah.
Sure, so good.
Okay. Well, if we get to that, I'll watch it then.
So we got one on Tumblr, or Kill la Kill maybe.
It's the same trigger.
We got one on Tumblr from Anonymon who says that considering that one of the big goals with Savers was to attract older Digimon fans, do you think that Falcomon's English voice may have been an attempt to evoke memories of Hawkmon?
I never got this, and then I read this one. I'm like, oh, no, I can totally see that. Like, it's very similar to Hawkmon. Like, vaguely English, kind of polite, soft-spoken bird.
It's been previously mentioned how his older sounding voice makes him seem more like a steward and less like a BFF. And aside from the general infamy English anime dubs have for their children with comically adult-like voices, can't think of any other explanation for this. I have no idea. I think, to me, it's just that Almon's really big, and that's really it.
I like his big circular head. It's very cute.
We got another one on Almon who says, a theory, maybe Digimon can talk, but they're bad at teaching how to talk, since in Data Squad they just naturally can often speak perfectly after digivolving to Rookie. And that's why Keenan can't talk well. I'm going to immediately say but humans learn by listening, naturally. If you are being taught, they might not be able to sit down and explain, this is what language is like, but you don't need to teach language that way. For really strong detail, you do how to write essays and things in school.
Yes.
But what's important to note is you don't start in Australia, as an example. You don't start English classes immediately when you begin schooling because everyone already knows how to speak English, right? You need to teach people how to write things, but you don't need to teach people how to speak because people pick that up naturally when they're growing up.
Yes.
Which Keenan would have done. And they say also Digimon reproducing works differently every season. In Frontier, we saw the Bergamon couple who had babies. So those reproduce, but in Data Squad, this hinted that Digimon don't reproduce there. It's fair, although the Bergamon were jokes. They were really just sponsorships.
I love them.
Also, couples exist, like the grandparents mon, but what babies would they have? That's confusing.
Okay, but I think Bergamon's still the best, though.
We got one from Trickstar Holy Angel, who says, my friend commissioned me to draw Gatchmon and Haru. That was 2 weeks ago, and they've gotten the sketch and line art done, and they're halfway through coloring Gatchmon, and they've finished Haru. They're not going to let themselves watch the Atmon finale until they've finished shading it. Well, you know what? You better finish quickly, because that's coming out tomorrow, and you do not want to be I think in the day and age we live in, the reason to watch things
is not to be spoiled.
Is to not be spoiled. It's dangerous.
It's why I need to watch Game of Thrones fast.
Oh, you better.
I've been good. I've been good not getting any spoils.
You got spoiled pretty hard on the first season.
Yeah, and I wanted to punch that guy.
And that feeling you could have to someone on the internet who you couldn't even tell off.
My coworker spoiled a thing to me, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was awful. I wanted to punch my coworker, but I can't because he's kind of my manager.
The last season is going to be 6 episodes that are all an hour and a half or more.
I'm going to die. That's so long.
So we got one from Ellie Vorg who says, they see the backstory of how Yoshi met Lalamon as proof that actually the Digimon partners in this universe still kind of are born to be with their humans. I agree. I think that's the case.
Yeah.
Piyamon seems really obvious for that. They believe that Lalamon's egg was drawn here more due to little Yoshi's emotional strength in managing to play her song even to an empty audience rather than just because of the song itself. This makes sense since we already know Digimon are connected to human emotions. And when you consider how much of a perfect fit Agumon's personality is with Masaru, it's not unreasonable to think that he was born to be with his partner. Perhaps Agumon's egg did show up near Masaru, but Masaru left wherever that was before he noticed it. And it's only Marcus and not Masaru who really seems willing to let Keenan die after he's beaten him in a fight. Especially with the line, I've got to win first, got it? Which definitely sounds like he wouldn't care at all after he's won. Masaru is less like this, and he has the line, how could I watch you die just like that? Which implies that he actually saved Ikuto because he didn't want to let a fellow human being die.
Masaru's a good egg.
Yeah, a good fried egg.
Good digi egg.
And so, you know what day it is today? It's fried egg. And just and their fight was just an excuse. The dub has consistently been making small changes like this that make Marcus come across as less of a good person than Masaru, which is sad. We have one from Slack from 2 weeks ago when I left before Postmon Pat, and apparently we have to go over. It was from Noah.
This is one I missed out on last week when we did the read-do stuff.
Who says, regarding Aquilamon and Piyomon argument, it's very akin to if you have a wooden boat and gradually... the ship of Theseus. If you have a boat and you gradually replace each piece of wood until all parts are replaced, do you have your original boat or something completely different? And I always thought that was really fascinating. And the answer I think I've always come to is the boat that you have experienced and been riding on the whole time is the original at all times. And there are lots of ways that thing can be used. Either way, they say with Yume, even if the data change, there's still a core that makes Aquilamon an evolution of that Piyomon. Most notable are his memories. If he was an entirely new entity, Chika would never have been relevant. Although, the fact that Chika can recognize him is silly, because, right, if you have a wooden boat, right, and you replace each piece of wood, that's perfectly reasonable. But if every time a piece gets to 50%, and you replace it with a car part, and by the end you have a car, and you drive that car down the street, Chika can't be like, that's my boat!
Yeah.
Because that's stupid!
And I see your thing.
They did think of a metaphor from May's side. If a software of any sort got an upgrade, entirely new design, functions, they removed or changed it, they changed the name, it would still be the same software because its basis is the previous version. It's not a change from scratch. As for Chika sensing that Aquilon is Piyomon, this may not be the best example, but they feel the need to bring it. Say there's an author you love and you read all their books. Said author has taken a pen name and wrote a book with completely different ideas, maybe even in another genre. When you read that book, you might get a hunch it's the same person, even without knowing how to pinpoint why. I think it's the same for Chika and Piyomon, a sort of a bond that she would recognize him. But the problem with that is, okay, a full book and a writing style is a huge difference to a picture on a television.
Right.
You know what if you had a brother, right? You'd know what your brother looks like.
Yes.
That's really fair point. You know what your brother looks like. If your brother then, I don't know, I want to say became a robot, like just a full-on robot who's made of big square blocks. In fact, looked like the robot from this episode. It's mixed with the house. It's 17 feet tall, whatever. And you saw it on TV, you wouldn't be like, that's my brother. I already know, no hesitation. I know that's not the best thing, but there's a huge distinction between an author and a writing style and reading 90,000 words of someone's work and having enough detail to be like, oh, I think I have an idea, rather than, I see a bird on TV. That must be my bird.
Yeah.
I think it's really simplistic.
I still think I'm right from that the conversation.
I don't remember what you were being right about. It was 2 weeks ago.
It was about how Chico recognized Aquilamon as being Biyomon.
Well, it's wrong.
No.
It's impossible.
No.
It looks different and it's through a TV.
No, it's actually through a painting made out of data, Rowan.
That's not true. That's on the digital world. You're not even paying attention?
No, they're the same thing.
Alright everybody, join us for the next episode of Death Parade. The Digimon army makes its move.
Or big panic in the human world. The Digimon army advances.
And the Wrath of Saberlomon.
Or defeat the ultimate level. The anger wave of Saberleomon. Weekly wonders this week. I'm going to have 2 because I'm awful. So first of all, Mario plus Rabbids came out. It's amazing. I love it. It's so fun.
Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
Yeah.
You have to remember, this is going to be a really broad Mario plus Rabbids franchise here.
I hope so.
So you need a subtitle.
It's a good game. It is.
It's pretty good.
It is actually probably one of the funnest games I've played
It's
this
XCOM.
year. I've never played XCOM though.
If you like this game, you will probably like XCOM.
I would assume it's easier XCOM.
Yes, XCOM is
fun,
very hard.
It's fun though.
Also, when your guys die, they are dead.
Yes. These
So
guys
you
just, they just die for the battle.
You have to go replace them with new soldiers, and you'll name your soldiers, and you're like, I like that guy.
Yeah, you name them after your friends and stuff. But in this, it's Mario and Luigi, and it's Rabbid Mario and Rabbid Luigi. But it's actually really, really fun, and it's not easy. It's like it's kind of challenging, and it's challenging especially if you want to go through it without any of your dudes dying, which I am. So I'm like, I keep on having to restart. I'm like, I don't want any of my guys to die.
The thing you will lose playing XCOM, like you'll gain tons more systems and tons more complexity, but you will lose the comedy, obviously.
Yeah.
It's not a funny game.
It's fun.
It's tragic.
Jay and I played some of it because we went away for our anniversary last Sunday night. And we played some co-op and it was really fun. And it was like, it's good co-op. It's not like we didn't have any arguments during this co-op, which is like, that means it's good co-op.
Pretty much.
And my other weekly wonder is that the latest season of Pretty Little Lies is on Netflix. And I really like Pretty Little Lies, even though it gave me a nightmare when I watched the first episode.
Nice.
It's a really, really, really good show, and I'm consistently surprised by it. Because when I first watched it, I was kind of like, it's be rubbish. But it wasn't. It surprised me. It is good, and if you want, like, a show about, like, some girls being pretty tough, and they're all different types of girls as well. Like, they're strong in different ways, and it's really good. There's a lesbian, there's a brainy one, there's like your average teen girl one. It's really great, and I think everyone should give it a shot. Netflix recommended it to me because I watched Gossip Girl, but I think it's better than Gossip Girl.
Ooh.
By like quite a lot.
Ooh.
So if you want like it's It's a thriller. It's like that's the genre. It is like a thriller sort of show, and it starts up when they're in high school, but now they're in like they've graduated now and they have real jobs and stuff. And it's really really good. It reminds me a bit of Desperate Housewives, but better in the way that it's like a thriller. I think that everyone should give it a go. It is really good. It's on Netflix. So I was about to say for free, but Netflix isn't free. But like
Nice.
I count everything that's on Netflix as being for free, despite me paying for it, because it just feels free. Because like it's like $9 a month, whatever.
Because it's in the back of your head. Oh, yes, it gets paid for, whatever.
Yeah, it's $9 every month. It's like, it's free. Not paying for it, but I am.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you have Netflix or any way to watch Pretty Little Liars, I suggest you watch it. It's actually quite good. It's surprising. And also Oreo. Also, I meant to say also, but it went to Oreo. I also recommend, as I said, Kingdom Battle, Mario plus Rabbids. I'll say that name one day correctly.
One day.
I really think if you have a Switch and you are interested, it's a good game to pick up.
I'm going to recommend Real Fake Doors. Fake doors. You want to open a door and there's nothing there? Real fake doors.
You can't just recommend a Rick and Morty quote. You actually have to.
I would love it. I want to. I guess I started playing Stellaris. Stellaris is really good.
What's that?
It's a giant like 4X game, like universe. Like, okay, so you play an alien race and you sort of command your ships around the galaxy, and you terraform and colonize planets. And okay, so you start off in a little star system.
Yeah.
There's a couple planets around, and I'm thinking, all right, cool. So this will be a strategy game, and I started my planet. I go fight these other planets. And then there's all these arrows around my star system. I go, what the hell are these? And I click it, and it goes to a different star system. I go, huh. There's a little button at the bottom which says see galaxy map, and you press it, and it zooms out, and there's like 1,000 star systems.
Is this a new game?
It's so huge.
I think I've seen a few people play it on
I
my Steam
think
list.
it's a year. It's a year or two old.
Oh, because I'm suddenly seeing people play it. Because I know that you were playing it the other night, and then I saw lots of other people playing it too.
Yeah, I started for the first time. There's a new expansion that just came out. If you want to play as a robot,
might be why.
And I started as humans, but I thought, oh, okay, I didn't know how long the game would be, and now I'm thinking this game's probably super stupidly long. So I kind of want to start again as a fungus because I want to see what that is like.
And also, you're a pretty fun guy.
Pretty much, you got me there.
I got you there.
So yeah, it's a cool game that like it seems absurdly complicated, and I'm pretty intimidated by it honestly, but I think I still want to play it.
Yeah, I'm also intimidated by Pretty Little Lies, so we both recommend things that are intimidating.
Fair enough, but it's okay. They're pretty, but they're quite small. And assume that whatever they're telling you is the opposite of the truth. You'll be fine.
Oh my god, I took me a while to get what you're saying, but now I get it.
Wow.
The link dump's linked in the description. And this week's weekly poll is, who is the worst dad in Digimon? Kouji's dad or Ikuto's dad?
Ooh, that's really... Ooh.
That's delayed reaction for you.
I still think it's Koji's dad, but it's close.
Well, if we are right about Ikuto's dad
No,
being
you're right.
awful.
Oh, because Koji's dad is just like hyper omission, but it could be that Ikuto's dad actually threw him into the portal.
Yeah, if Ikuto's dad just threw him into the portal,
That's
he's
way
the worst.
worse. Oh,
He's just
it's
kind of
nuts.
like a bit not aware of his wife's feelings. What's implied? But if he threw his son in, he's the worst. He's a baby murderer, essentially.
Well,
Or
attempted
baby murder. You can also find our screenshots of the week, and our weekly one is linked in the description and in our link dump. Our Redbubble is linked in the description, and you can get more than just shirts there, so check that out. You can contact us and stay updated. You can email us at LostinTranslationmon@gmail.com, or you can comment on this episode or messages on SoundCloud. You can follow us on @Translationmon on Twitter, and you can find us on LostinTranslationmon on Tumblr, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We have a discussion thread on With the Will, and a Reddit thread in the Digimon subreddit. And we would appreciate if you would review us on iTunes, Stitcher, or whatever podcast listening service you use. Also, I'm still calling it iTunes, despite it. I think it's changing its name.
Apple Podcasts or whatever.
Yeah. Also, I still don't think that the Google Play podcast is in Australia yet, so we're not on that yet. But as soon as we're able to,
dude.
yeah, we will be. And we have a website. You can vote in our weekly poll. You can check out our release schedule. We have a very detailed release schedule there. So check it out, please. You can donate to our Patreon, which is linked in the description, from as little as $1 a month. $1 a month gets you access to a list of Slack chat group, but there are higher levels with more rewards such as notes, early episodes, and more.
And thank you to our Patreon supporters, Sam Krieger, who has a podcast called The Moncast, which talks about Pokemon and Digimon, Stevie, who is Stevie Padamon on Tumblr and is currently taking commissions, Wuchinglong, who you can find at twitch.tv/Wuchinglong, Metal Mamemon, Joe, Penguin Mage, Anime Guy, who is Anime Guy Kurosaki and the #1 on YouTube, Chuckmon, Ishbel Bumba, Hiro Olado, who's at Hiro Olado on Twitter, Twitter, Jason Morosky, Ryuchi, who's Frostman Magic on Archive of Our Own, Stephen Reeves, who's at Wildwing64 on Twitter, Kaidawashi, Mac, Noam, Riku, Chisai, who can follow at Chisai236 on Tumblr, Corey, Kyle, the Lady Bugman, whose anime blog you can find at baguburagu.wordpress.com, Smallwolfie, who is on Tapastic as Smallwolfie and has a comic there called Eden of Melancholy, Tom, Glitchcoat, Azra McCool, Nicholas, Gene Hackmon, Matthew, Anthony, who is Anto Classic on Twitter, Lismet, who is Elecmon on Tumblr, Sithobi, Ellivorg, who is Ellivorg on Tumblr, Sporky McForkinspoon, who has a Digimon podcast called Going Digital, Megan, Kyliak, Neobu, Jams, and the Time Optimist.
You can also make a one-off donation on our PayPal, which can be found linked in the description. It's paypal.me/edgemon. And make sure there's no podcast. See you guys next time. Bye!
Bye!